Drama, I'm sure, about to unfold. It's all live with us here on Sports Sound with our commentary team of Stephen Craig and Pat Bonner and Al Lamont.
Thanks very much, Rich. Yeah, this is a real test of the champions' mettle this afternoon. Trailing Rangers by 5, their biggest deficit since going into the winter break in 21-22. Ange Postecoglou's side comfortably clawed that back, but with 12 games to play, there's little room for error this time around. Motherwell have proved a tough nut to crack for Celtic this season, but they've taken just 5 points from 78 from today's opponents. Brendan Rodgers has never lost to well. Will that change this afternoon? Well, certainly the home fans who have gathered here at Fir Park will hope so. It'll be Celtic to kick us off, going from right to left as we look at it from the back of the main stand. Motherwell in their traditional claret and amber, and Celtic likewise their traditional green and white hoops. And it will be Matt O'Reilly who will kick us off as a 9th consecutive victory at Fir Park. We're underway, and Idah gets an early touch, playing it back to Liam Scales. Greg Taylor for Mike Nawrocki. Celtic, you imagine, have got to start with a high tempo. That's what their manager will be demanding, that's what their fans will be looking for if they're to get a positive result this afternoon. Too often this season they've been guilty of playing with a slow build-up, laboured, and it's led to the drop points. Have already dropped points in more games this season than they did in all of last season, as Adam Devine gets an early touch on loan from Rangers, trying to help out his parent club by helping Motherwell to take something off Celtic this afternoon. Nawrocki plays it back to Joe Hart. We'll get Packy's thoughts on Joe Hart's retirement, which he announced during the week over the course of this game, and maybe post-match as well. Will he have a big part to play in this fixture? It's out for a throw into Motherwell just down in front of Stuart Kettlewell's dugout, and it'll be taken by Paul McGinn about 15 yards inside the Motherwell half. McGinn looking down the line for options, looks for Bair but doesn't quite reach him, comes off the head of Greg Taylor. A couple of bodies hit the deck, but Willie Collum allows play to continue as Bevis Mugabe gets his head to the ball. Starkowski's in there as well, battling away, and eventually Willie Collum does blow the whistle. I think it's a handball, and it's given in Celtic's favour. And here's Alistair Johnston playing with the face mask after the head knock he took against Hibs. Back in the lineup as Kuhn picks up on the right hand side on the left boot, slides it to Greg Taylor 20 yards from goal, takes a shot and takes a deflection, but it's gathered in by Liam Kelly, watched today by the Scotland goalkeeping coach Chris Woods, and a good early take from Liam Kelly to settle any nerves that he might be feeling. A couple of minutes in, Motherwell 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a good bit of play down the right hand side. Took the free kick quickly, which tells me that they want to keep the intensity up right from the very off. And when that ball came across, Greg Taylor picked up that sort of almost inverted fullback position in midfield, and I think when he hit the shot, yes, the deflection just took the momentum out of it, and it was easy for Liam Kelly.
It's forward from Lennon Miller, and Theo Bair is into the Celtic penalty area. Right hand side, checks back inside, shooting chance, goal! Theo Bair is offside. What a start that looked like for Motherwell, but Theo Bair and Motherwell's celebrations are curtailed. 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Willie Collum with the arm raised and the flag up on this near side. Of course it will be checked, but Motherwell thought they'd made the ideal start. What a bit of play it was from Theo Bair to check inside and finish beyond Joe Hart, but it looks like it's going to be chalked off. Stephen Craig.
Well, to the naked eye, Alistair, it looked like he'd gone a little bit early. It's hard sometimes because your eye's on the ball, you watch the ball being kicked, and by the time you look, Theo Bair is beyond Liam Scales. What I would say is there was a bit of a gap between Nawrocki and Liam Scales to allow Theo Bair to run into. It's one simple ball up the pitch. If you've got their defensive line right, it's absolutely perfect, but it's a risk to take when there's no pressure on the ball and the Motherwell player can lift her head and play. But the finish from Theo Bair, I think it was against Livingston here earlier in the season. I was here and he'd done the exact same thing, chopped back and put it into the back of the net. But it's a warning sign to Celtic that they have to be careful when they're pressing. They have to be together. And I think it looks like it's going to be offside.
Stephen, you're bang on there. When you look at Nawrocki,
just to confirm, it's definitely offside.
Scales is the first defender on near the ball. Nawrocki then's got to come round and give him cover. And if yes, they played offside, so you could give them credit maybe that was a tactical good piece of work. But certainly, if he's going to track him, he's got to track him. Otherwise, with the power of Bear, he's in there, and the strength and the speed, and he'd be a handful for them all day. Oh,
yeah, he's just caught Liam Scales there with a high boot, and Scales felt that, and Willie Collum wants a word with Theo Bear. I'll tell you what, despite being offside, he finished it with some aplomb, and he's a player who has been completely transformed. And I have to say, credit to Stuart Kettlewell for not only bringing that out of him, but also identifying that there was a player in there, because I think if anyone else in Scottish football is honest, very few of us saw that.
Yeah, listen, it was a brilliant finish, great technical play also to create the opportunity for him to just slide it past Joe Hart in the Celtic goal. But yeah, it doesn't stand, unfortunately, for Motherwell, but it's a good start for them.
It's a big warning for Celtic as well. And here's Nawrocki just stepping away from Bear, and now O'Reilly about 30 yards from the Motherwell goal, out to the right hand side for Kuhn. Up against Gent, flicks it into the penalty area. Kyogo trying to get in front of his marker, who was Paul McGinn, but McGinn did enough, and then it's just whacked upfield all the way over the halfway line, all the way through to Joe Hart, who's well out of his goal, and he just plays it short to Nawrocki. 5 minutes in, it's 0-0. Motherwell thought and hoped it was 1-0, but Theo Bear's goal chopped off for offside, and VAR just confirming that the assistant on the near side had flagged correctly. Jonathan Bell, the man with the flag, and he got it right as Joe Hart has the ball at his feet, just the edge of the penalty area, plays out to Liam Scales, who was turned inside out by Theo Bear, and we'll have to keep a close eye on the Canadian, who's eyeing a recall to the international set-up I was reading during the week. And here come Motherwell again, and this time it's Lennon Miller leading the charge into the penalty area. He goes, takes it one way, then the other, checks back, then he goes down under the challenge of Nawrocki, back on his feet. There's some claims from the home fans, no real claims from Miller himself. It was actually Jack Vale, sorry Stephen, you're correct to point that out to me, it was Vale who was going into the box there, who goes down in the end. It looked like there was nothing too much in it, but it's eventually out for a Motherwell corner down that right hand side. But already Motherwell on the counter-attack looking very dangerous.
Well, you say counter-attack, it's just one long ball up the pitch. It's not as if it's 4 or 5 passes cutting Celtic open. It's just simple balls over the top. So Celtic really have to be careful, but good running power from Theo Bear and good running power from Jack Vale.
Corner kick then from the right hand side, swung in near post, and it comes off, I think, a Celtic head, and behind for another corner.
Yeah, it was a good corner, played in with real pace into that near post area. I always worry slightly about Callum McGregor being a small player in that front post area. You see, they're trying to drag him out of that area by playing 2v1 out in the wide area, but that space is there to be exploited by Motherwell.
This one's taken short, and it's gone back to Spittal, who hoists it to the back post. The header's won at the back post, but harmlessly behind. It was Dan Casey perhaps who won the header, and he's also hurt himself as he went up for the header, and he's going to need some treatment. He's taken a knock to the face, and Willie Collum brings on the Motherwell physio. 7 minutes in, and Motherwell have started this game pretty well.
They have, and you know, Stephen rightly says it's 2 long balls down the side of the centre half, but at that time again it was down the side of Awata, who was kind of almost a holding midfield player, and Nawrocki, who again, we've seen him against Aberdeen, he struggled for pace up against Majowski, and that could be something that Motherwell have analysed, and they've seen that's probably the weakness, and that's 2 balls that's played into that area, and they've struggled, Celtic, to deal with it.
I think when you're an underdog, you need a little bit of hope early in the game. You need a little bit of inspiration that can kind of galvanise you and believe that there's something here for you today. And those 2 simple balls over the top have to give Motherwell that belief, which Stuart Kettlewell spoke about ahead of the game. What you have to be careful of, though, is every time you get the ball, you're not looking for that simple pass up the field, because then Celtic start to drop off and start to understand it and read it. It's about mixing your game up. It's about the centre forward coming short and going long and trying to play little games all the time. But certainly the pace of Bear and the power of Bear and the running power of Jack Vale shows they have got that threat if they can get the pass right.
Yeah, but the thing about that, Stephen, is if you do play a couple of and it comes off, that Celtic will drop off. That allows you then to play a little bit in midfield and get a few passes away. Otherwise Celtic just come and crowd you and stop you from building any momentum. So them long balls have helped them maybe to develop that part of the game.
Dan Casey back on his feet, and he's going to trot off on the far side, having received treatment, and he'll be way back on momentarily as Joe Hart prepares to take the goal kick. We've played almost 9 minutes at Fir Park, and Motherwell, the team that have had the ball in the net, but it was chopped off for an offside, and Theo Bair's goal did not stand. Here we go again, it's Liam Scales up to the halfway line, crossing it into Motherwell territory, looking for an option, tries to squeeze it down the left flank for Callum McGregor. It's cut out by Vale, who is playing just off Theo Bair like Blair Spittal.
Yeah, it's critical, obviously, they're man marking Iwata in the middle of the pitch, not to let him be the typical Callum McGregor type player who's going to develop the game. So now the centre halves have got to be able to pick out those two forward midfield players and get them on the ball, especially Callum McGregor, who can pick a pass.
Spittal goes up and wins the header midway inside his own half, out to Gent on the left hand side. He just thumps it forward rather hopefully. Scales underneath it, it's not a convincing header. Miller gets something on it. Divine now down the right flank for Miller once more, tracked by Greg Taylor almost at the byline, shoving the back there on Miller, and Miller plays it off Taylor. It's another Motherwell corner, and the home side certainly starting this one the more positive of the two outfits.
Well, I think this is where Motherwell have to try and exploit Celtic's so-called weakness. You know, they don't have a lot of height. When you look at Liam Scales, you look at Narowski, you look at Matt O'Reilly, that's about it. So can you possibly take those three bigger ones out of the way and allow one of your powerful players to go and get a free header? They have to try and exploit it.
Corner kicked in on the right hand side. Gent with the left foot is over it. Stravkovski's the short option, but he swings it in near post. A good ball, but it's well won by Scales right inside his 6-yard area. Motherwell pick up on the edge of the box. It's Miller once more, cut out by McGregor. O'Reilly has it. He can't find McGregor with the pass backwards, but it's out of play for a Celtic throw in midway inside their own half. Just over 10 played. Motherwell 0, Celtic 0 as Scales rolls it back to Joe Hart. Quick chance for you to address that retirement announced by Joe Hart, Parky.
Listen, you know, it's obviously retirement. I thought he might have played on a little bit longer. Whether it was a Celtic or not, that's another story. But from that perspective, he's done magnificent, I think, for Celtic coming up here when they were really under pressure in that position. You know, we know that they paid big money for Barkas. It didn't work out. They needed somebody to come in to give a little bit of, I think, stability to that sort of almost position, and he's done it so well. And he's so good off the pitch as much as on the pitch, which is the big strength of Joe. Very experienced man, been around it, big shots stopper, and has come up with big saves at critical times. There is almost weaknesses in every goalkeeper, don't get me wrong, but over the piece he's done brilliantly.
Might have a bit of work to do here as Vale comes forward in the left channel for Motherwell. Into the penalty he comes, goes for goal, and it's taken in by Joe Hart. Comfortable save that time from Vale's strike.
I'm so happy that he made that save after me building him up there.
Yeah, I think most people would echo what you say. Of course he's made a couple of errors, but what goalkeeper hasn't, what player hasn't over the course of their career? But generally speaking, he's been terrific for Celtic, and Brendan Rodgers paying tribute to him during the week as well, describing him as a brilliant asset to Celtic in the wider game. Tremendous man, as Parky's been saying there, brilliant to work with, said Brendan Rodgers. And yeah, he'll be a loss, and Celtic will clearly have to go, you'd imagine, into the market, and might cost a few bob to find an adequate replacement. 0-0 it stands here at Fir Park as Kuhn is fouled there by Georgie Gent over on the far side. Celtic have the free kick just a few yards in off the right touchline. 12.5 played at Fir Park. 0-0 it stands. Celtic have lost possession again, and Spittal picks up, and it's a good bit of play, but he's then given it to absolutely no one. Alistair Johnson goes back and retrieves it on the halfway line, plays it to Iwata, and then back to Nawrocki to Scales out on this left hand side. Motherwell looking to try and organise, make sure there's nothing easy for Celtic on as Idah has to go back the way, challenged by a couple of Motherwell players. Miller forces him back the way, and now it's out to Johnston on the right hand side. Now Kuhn takes over up against Spittal, plays it forward there for O'Reilly on the goal line, right hand side, cuts it back, tries to at least cut out at the near post, and it will be a Celtic corner, their first of the game, over on the right hand side. 13 in, goalless so far in Motherwell.
Yeah, this is where the nerves start to build from the Motherwell perspective. Defensively, they've been poor from set plays. They've been poor from cross balls into their box, so they can't let it come back today. Yeah,
O'Reilly swings it in, and Spittal gets his head to it. Motherwell have conceded more from set pieces than anyone else in the top flight. 12, I think, is the tally, 9 of which have come from corners, but they survived that one for the moment at least. Here's McGregor though, coming forward once more. He's out-muscled midway inside the Motherwell half by Zdravkovsky, who looked to feed it forward early doors for Jack Vale, but it's cut out and Celtic have it back 14 in, 0-0 as O'Reilly has it just inside the Motherwell half, plays it back to Johnston. Again, Celtic haven't quite hit their straps as yet. Here's Scales moving forward down the left for the champions. Idah can't get away from Devine, then in steps Miller to feed it forwards, and Iwata, who was tracking Baird, just knocks it out of play. Safety first, and it'll be a throw into Motherwell.
Well, Brendan Rodgers said ahead of the game that Iwata was playing to give defensive stability in midfield. All Motherwell's threats are coming from Jack Vale, who are actually running off Iwata, so I'm not too sure he's given too much defensive stability.
No, listen, I agree with you there, Stephen. I'm looking at it and I'm saying he's sitting in that midfield area. The fullbacks have gone forward. He is the one who has to almost cover those areas too. Has he got the pace to do that? That would be the question I would have.
Poor kick out there from Kelly. Scales plays it forward, comes to Kuhn about 25 yards from goal, trying to get onto the left foot, slipping it through, looking for Idah, but McGinn was back there to clear. Celtic have it on the halfway line. It looked like a handball there from Vale. Accidental, then he catches Idah. That was probably also accidental, but nonetheless it is a free kick to Celtic as the Japanese forward goes down, and Willie Collum says that'll be a free kick 10 yards inside Motherwell territory. Quickly taken by McGregor out to Johnston on the right hand side, further to the right as Gent tries to intercept the pass to Kuhn, but Kuhn picks up almost right on the touchline on that right hand side. Back to O'Reilly just after the quarter of an hour mark. No goals as yet, but Scales comes forward. Celtic creeping into the game here, having been on the back foot in the early stages. Here's Scales midway inside the Motherwell half, plays it forward for Taylor. Taylor closely marked by McGinn, gets the pass off to Iwata and then back to Scales, who plays it square early for Nawrocki, allowed to come forward midway inside the Motherwell half. Out to the right now for Johnston, closed down by Gent. It'll break for Iwata and back out to Johnston, right hand side, slides it into the feet there of Kuhn, who couldn't bring it under control. Motherwell pick up just inside their own box. Forward pass for Miller, who wasn't aware of Idah coming back, and he's nicked it off him. Celtic have it once more. It's Idah getting it back from Taylor. Taylor once more midway inside the Motherwell half. Good pressure this from Celtic. Can they create the opportunity? Good challenge from Mugabe on Kyogo, and then they were just too keen to play the early ball there, and it's given back to Celtic and all the way back through to Joe Hart. 16 and a half played, Motherwell 0, Celtic 0.
That's just decision making. I mean, a great tackle, Mugabe coming out and winning the ball, but then when the ball falls to him, it's almost in his head. I need to kick it long. When the pass wasn't on, he could have easily played it into the feet of the big striker, and they would have held on to it.
Motherwell have given it away again. It's Taylor just outside the penalty area. McGregor trying to keep a hold of it under pressure from Zdravkovsky. Taylor once more, Miller tracking him. Back with Iwata midway inside the Motherwell half. Nawrocki's well advanced, comes forward and pokes it out to the right hand side for Kuhn to try and take on his marker. Stands it up to the back post. Devine gets a crucial header in there as Idah was lurking at the back post. Comes out to Taylor at the angle of the box on the left hand side. Devine blocks the cross, and then Miller steps in to help out his teammate, feeds it forward. It's not a good pass. Iwata in there ahead of Vale. It's a good spell this for Celtic as they look for the opening goal. Idah back to his fellow Japanese international Iwata, and then Scales. Nawrocki, they're being pushed back though by the Motherwell press, and have to go back to the goalkeeper Joe Hart, who's about 25 yards from his own goal. Now Nawrocki up towards the halfway line he comes. Good contest so far. Motherwell started really well, but Celtic edging back into the game, looking to impose themselves as Alistair Johnson just knocks it straight out of play, and a bit of respite for Motherwell, who have just had to be switched on in the last 5 minutes, Stephen, but they've done it fairly well, to be fair.
Yeah, Lennon Miller's had a difficult 2 or 3 minutes. He got the ball, he took too many touches. Idah takes it off him. He plays a long ball up the pitch, he gets caught in possession again. You've got to move the ball quickly. You know when you're playing against Celtic and the game's so condensed, you aren't getting 4 touches, you aren't getting 5 seconds to think about it. You've got to be touch and move the ball quickly. So that's what they have to get back to.
Yeah, the 17-year-old's had a lot of plaudits, and he's got a big future ahead in the game, you would imagine, but this is a big test for him this afternoon in the midfield against Celtic as they try to come forward down the right hand side, but Casey gets it back to his goalkeeper Liam Kelly, and Casey's not been able to keep the pass back from Gent in though, and it's a throw into Celtic. Well into Motherwell territory, quickly taken by O'Reilly. He's played it back to Johnston, still on that right flank. Back with O'Reilly, who Brendan Rodgers acknowledged during the week that he's rather dried up, certainly in terms of goals. He hasn't been nearly as prolific as he was in the first half of the season. Partly symptomatic of Celtic's own dip in form. Here's Scales trying to get it into the box, comes off the back of Idah and fortuitously comes back to Scales on the angle of the box, left hand side. Taylor in support. Scales will try to whip it in himself. Devine away only as far as McGregor. McGregor can't get it past Zofkowski, who's sticking close to him in these early stages. Scales slides it forward looking for Idah, but it's too much on it. Behind for a Motherwell goal kick and almost 20 minutes on the clock. It's still goalless at Fir Park.
Yeah, Celtic dominating and controlling the possession at the moment, higher up the pitch in a better position. Still not able to maybe break down the Motherwell defence the way they would like, but they're in a positive situation at the moment. Motherwell's playing obviously with their back five. They're playing with a three in midfield and almost a two up front, with Vale dropping in on top of Awata. Celtic, I think, have got a 2v1 in the wide areas, and they need to switch the ball a little bit quicker from side to side and create those 2v1s and try to exploit Motherwell.
Taylor does well against Bair in the air. He's given away a few inches, but he got the better of the big striker. McGregor, though, running into trouble. He's pretty fortunate to get a free kick there, in my view. He just seemed to run into the challenge, but Willie Collum was close at hand and awards the free kick to Celtic, which has been taken. Motherwell initially deal with it, but McGregor picks up, away then by Casey up to the halfway line, and it'll be picked up by Nawrocki. Spittal goes to try and close him down, and he goes back to Joe Hart, who's midway inside his own half, and immediately plays it out to Scales, out to the left hand side for Taylor. Looks up, tries one over the top. Mugabe sees that back to Liam Kelly. Poor ball from Greg Taylor. It's got to be better than that.
It's just too impatient from Celtic. You know, when you're playing against a deep defensive line, the space is probably not going to be in behind. You can't continually force balls in like Motherwell managed to do against Celtic. You've got to drop it in, you've got to try and feed it into feet. Kyogo's not looking in behind, he knows it's not there for him, so Greg Taylor has to recognise that.
Idah has it, left hand side, plays it off Devine, who looks to me, Stephen, certainly when I've seen him very odd occasionally, he's had a chance at Rangers, and also in the couple of glimpses I've had him in a Motherwell jersey, looks like to be a decent acquisition for Stuart Kettlewell.
I have to say, very accomplished for a young player. Really good distribution, he's good in possession, his passing is good, he's strong. He did give away a poor goal up at Aberdeen. He get out muscled by Duke for a goal, so that's a learning curve as a young fullback. You've got to defend your back post, but all round, Alistair, yeah, he's been good.
Motherwell fans wanted a free kick in the middle of the park, which wasn't forthcoming, and Celtic have it through Alistair Johnson just inside his own half. 0-0 with 21.5 minutes on the clock. Motherwell with one win in their last 6. It came emphatically here against Ross County. 3 draws and 2 defeats other than that in this run. But they still have half an eye at least on the top 6, you would imagine. It's such a close fought league, that part of it, at least, as Liam Kelly comes off his line and clutches it high in the air, looking to regain some of the confidence that perhaps he's lost over the last few weeks.
That was a really good decision, because it was a decent ball over the top. Idah was, I think, in, but he's cleared up the situation, caught the ball beyond his penalty spot, which is unique in the modern game.
Gents run straight into Alistair Johnston, and Celtic have won it back, and they come forward here through Kuhn into the penalty area, or just to the edge of it, but it's a good challenge on the edge by Casey, and Motherwell win it back. Forward it goes to Bair, looking to hold it up, but in steps Nawrocki, just pokes it out of play over on the far side. It'll be a Motherwell throw-in. We've played a quarter of the game, no goals. Theo Bair did have the ball in the back of the net inside the opening 3 minutes, but the flag curtailed his celebrations, and that's why it still stands at 0-0. Not too much for either keeper to do beyond that. Here's Zofkowski, it's a poor ball from him and given away straight to Nawrocki, and here's Taylor just about to cross the halfway line on the near side, the Celtic left. Idah now with his back to goal, plays it back to Scales. Scales again brings it over the halfway line, out to Taylor, midway inside the Motherwell half, closed down by Miller, and it goes to Iwata, who's tracked by Bair. Taylor then gets the pass back into the centre circle to Nawrocki. Forward he comes, and then out to the right hand side for Nicholas Kuhn, one of the Celtic's 2 January purchases. Back he goes, much to the despair of Packie Bonner, but it's out to the left-hand side now for Taylor, and then Idah with a dreadful attempt at a cross, goes all the way straight behind Liam Kelly's goal. A goal kick to Motherwell. 23, almost 24 played here. Motherwell 0, Celtic 0.
Well, Celtic shift the ball across to Nawrocki on the right side of the defence. He kind of drives for. He should have driven forward a little bit more and commit the left side of a 3 midfielder, and that creates the 2v1 in the wide area for Celtic. But when the ball, he plays out to Kuhn, and it's all very, very slow, and he doesn't do anything with it, and it just breaks down again from Celtic's perspective. They've got to do it sharper and have confidence he can go and take on a fullback.
McGregor manages to get the ball through to Kuhn, but he's giving it away. Devine now crossing the halfway line. Idah trying to get back to him. He plays it forward though to Bear, and then back to Vale, and Spittal on the left hand side. He's got support in the shape of Gent, but he comes back in field to McGinn, about 15 yards inside the Celtic half. McGinn trying to play it in the right channel, looking for Bear, but there's too much in the pass, and it's straight behind for a Celtic goal kick. And you can see the idea there from McGinn. The space was there, but it wasn't properly executed.
Theo Bear standing in an offside position. He's standing behind Liam Scales. When Paul McGinn lifts his head, he's looking for him to come out and run around the front of Liam Scales and run back into the space. But because he's offside all the time, Paul McGinn has to play it. Has to be better. And Motherwell are missing far too many first passes when they turn the ball over as well.
Here's McGregor down the left-hand side, finds O'Reilly at the edge of the box, stands up to the back post, just a bit too much on it. Kuhn keeps it in, but he couldn't do anything with it, and Gent steps in. That was a good position there for O'Reilly, but it wasn't the best of passes as Iwata picks up midway inside the Motherwell half. Back out to the right-hand side for Johnston. Infield it goes. Couldn't find Kuhn though with the pass, and Motherwell have it. Slavkowski a little bit hesitant at the edge of his own box, but ball does come through to Devine, plays it forward onto the chest of Bear. Good hold up play. He was caught there by Taylor, and Willie Collum hesitates before awarding the free kick. He was looking to try and play an advantage. It didn't really accrue, and Motherwell instead will get the free kick just inside their own half.
Yeah, Willie Collum was right. I thought just let the play go for that couple of seconds to see how it develops.
Can you say that again, Packie? I'm saying, can you say that again? Willie Collum was right.
Well, I don't know. We don't say that too often. I like to see a referee letting the advantage go for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. It's out for a throw-in now, though, over on the far side to Celtic, midway inside their own half, to be taken by their own Canadian international Alistair Johnston. Missed the last couple because of that head knock, awful head knock he took at Easter Road, but thankfully able to resume duties here at right back for Celtic this afternoon with Anthony Ralston on the bench. Motherwell have a throw-in over on the far side, midway inside the Celtic half, still 0-0 with 26.5 minutes played, and really no test for either goalkeeper as yet. Joe Hart did have to pick the ball out of his net, but it was offside, as we know from Theo Bear. There's a dive there, really, you'd have to say, in the penalty area. It was Vale, I think, going down under a very minimal touch from Nawrocki, and he looked pleadingly towards Willie Collum and points for the goal kick, but I mean that would have been extremely soft had that been given.
Yeah, and that's the second time. I think the one against Nawrocki was exactly the same. He went to ground fairly easily, so but he's got away with it, young man.
Once again showing his threat, isn't he? He's getting beyond the Celtic back line. He's forcing the Celtic players into making decisions and challenges on him.
Good ball from Taylor, comes off the head of Idah, who was just trying to get on the end of it, and that was rather unfortunate for Celtic and Idah there, because it looked like a good ball clipped forward by Taylor, but just skimmed off the top of that bald pate of Dyson Idah.
Packie, is it me or does Idah look nowhere near the player he was this time last season? I think he looks miles away. He obviously looks a little bit disinterested at times.
That for me at times, even off the ball, when he walks around a wee bit, he does something and then he walks a little bit. I think in the past he had that energy about him, that sort of kind of almost closing people down to and working back to winning the ball, and that he's almost trying to find himself again, which is a really worrying time.
I just wonder if the relationship that the Japanese players had with Ange Postecoglou, who obviously brought them to the club and had a knowledge of them all, I wonder if that's affected him, his absence. Kyogo's obviously, I think we can also say, not been the player he was in the past couple of seasons either.
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that, to be perfectly honest, because that's really down to man management then and getting them. You know, everybody, listen, we all love different managers we've been under, but we're professional players. We've got to react to the managers in different ways. Some people talk to you, some don't talk to you. I don't think Ange Postecoglou was talking to them on a daily basis, but because he maybe came from that environment, he worked in that environment, he knew them and they were comfortable with that. That might be the only thing I would pick up on.
Kuhn with a good run forward, but couldn't pick out a teammate with the pass in the end, and Devine gets it back to Kelly as he knocks it forward and Scales straight out of play for a throw into Motherwell, more or less on the halfway line, right hand side, 0-0.
And the reason to say that, Alistair, is because beyond doubt he's the quickest player on that pitch, beyond anybody. However, watching him, you wouldn't think that. And I watched him last week against Kilmarnock, fastest player without doubt on the pitch against Kilmarnock, but he didn't show often enough, whereas last season he was the infectious one, package right, but go and press and set the tone. So I think when he gets up to speed, then that's when Celtic can definitely improve.
Nawrocki clears from just outside his own penalty area. Motherwell trying to keep it in Celtic territory. Casey picks up on the halfway line, heavy touch though, and knocked forward by O'Reilly. Mugabe has got to be careful here with Kyogo lurking, but he's done well to bring it out to this right hand side and then feed it forward, looking for Bear. Can Bear bring it under control? Scales is close to him. Bear tries to skip away from Scales and Taylor. It's good work from the Canadian, and Taylor eventually just forces it out of play for a Motherwell throw in about 10 yards inside the Celtic half. Right hand side quickly taken by McGinn to Miller. McGinn gets it back and then plays it into Zdravkovsky. Forward for Bear. Bear touches it back to Devine. Forward now for Vale. Vale looks up, tries to pick out a teammate, Spittal. Now it's Gent, takes a touch, edge of the box, tries to clip it over Joe Hart, and it's over the crossbar instead. Terrific move. Blair Spittle's furious. He wants Gent to take that on first time, I think. Either way, the execution was poor, but the move was terrific.
Brilliant play all round. Jack Vale into Blair Spittal from right to left, middle of the 18-yard box, helped on. What I would say in his defence, I think the ball was spinning. The way it was coming to him, he was having to take a touch to try and get it under control. I don't think he stopped to spin, because as he struck the ball, it hit the outside of his left foot and went over the crossbar. But there's certainly more than enough encouragement here from Motherwell that if they get the passing right, they get the movement right, they can hurt the Celtic back line.
Yeah, well, Celtic haven't been able to put a move like that together in the game. Have gone beyond the half-hour mark, and arguably Georgie Gent should have been testing Joe Hart in the Celtic goal there, but a terrific 4 or 5 man move there. Spittle picking out Gent, but just unable to test the keeper as Celtic try and come forward now out of play off the head of Mugabe. Good defensive header, and Celtic will have the throw-in down about 10 yards or so away from the corner flag, left hand side, to be taken by Greg Taylor. Still we await the breakthrough for either side at Fir Park in the final Premiership game as O'Reilly tries to bring it under control, couldn't quite do so, and Mugabe just hoofs it up the park. Bear felt he was being fouled there by Scales. I don't think so, just out of play off the Canadian, and throw in by Celtic, and Scales is quickly taken for Nawrocki.
Motherwell have done really well in the middle of the field to almost kill the space for McGregor, Awata, O'Reilly to work in, and they're forcing that ball wide, which we know is another great ball.
It's a brilliant ball from Spittal for Bear in that right channel. He's got no support though. Scales has forced him out to the right hand side of the box. Still Bear looking to hold it up, tries to get the shot away, it's charged down, but Devine picks up. Miller will just try and keep it alive. Idah back there working, then gets it clear. Motherwell pick up once more through Blair Spittal, and I mean his passing ability, quite apart from his dead ball threat, is quite remarkable. Here's Kyogo though at the other end, picking up, trying to go through a gap between Zdravkovsky and Mugabe, and the Motherwell duo just managed to force it out of play as Celtic look to counter. Nothing comes of that at the moment, but that Spittal's return is crucial for Motherwell's team.
I mean, without eulogising too much, Alistair, he's a class footballer. He's really good to watch. He's really good with the ball at his feet. His vision, his control, his awareness, everything about him. Does he possibly lack that little yard of pace to go to the next level? But certainly for Motherwell this season, he's been an outstanding player.
Yeah, signed by Stuart Kettlewell up at Ross County, and he was effectively eulogising him as well recently, and his importance to the team. 9 goals, 8 assists coming into this one. The game against Hearts was the first he didn't start all season. He's back in the starting lineup, and he's played a couple of really beautiful balls already this afternoon. Here comes Celtic right hand side. Kuhn having to go back the way. Motherwell forcing him that way as he tries to slide a pass through the middle. unable to do so. It does eventually break for Johnston. O'Reilly back for McGregor, midway inside the Motherwell half. McGregor to the right hand side for O'Reilly. O'Reilly on that left foot nudges it back to McGregor, slides it through. Kyogo, good save, Liam Kelly. First sight of goal for Kyogo. Took it first time on the spin on the right hand side, but Liam Kelly stuck out the right boot and kept it out, certainly going on target. And Celtic's first real threat of the game after 34 minutes. Here they come once more. Kyogo challenged in the air by Casey, and then just brushed aside by Mugabe, and Motherwell come clear. But Kyogo, with his first effort at goal, looking for his first goal in 9 away games, denied by Liam Kelly, and it was a good stop, Packy.
It was a good stop, great save with his feet, but that was the movement of Kyogo and the pass from that man. We talked about him, Callum McGregor, just looking for the run, looking for the space, and a lovely penetrating pass. But then you've got good movement and down the side of the centre halves, and he brought a really good save out of Liam Kelly. Celtic's probably the only big chance in the game so far.
Well, they've had to be patient. It's taken them 34 minutes, hasn't it? They eventually find that space, eventually to work it out. And I'm sure that's something that Brendan Rodgers will be trying to reiterate to them at half-time. Don't be impatient. Don't try and force the ball.
There's a check for a penalty here. Kyogo's down receiving treatment. I mean, he was brushed aside by Mugabe, I described it as. It didn't seem more than that to me at the time. However, Gavin Duncan is the VAR, and he's... no penalty. It was a fairly quick check, whatever it was, and it didn't seem at first glance certainly like it was a foul. Kyogo's having to go off here, having had a little bit of treatment. Not sure what the particular knock that he took was, but off he comes, having just been denied by Liam Kelly. The first sight of goal he's had. He's got 2 in his last 2 games, and looking to add to that tally this afternoon, but Liam Kelly keeping him out on that particular occasion, and it is the Motherwell keeper who's knocking this one long. Scales gets his head to it, and he had to, because Miller might have been in. Vale trying to help it on for Bayer, and it's knocked out of play over on the far side. Better play again from Motherwell. 10 minutes till the interval, still 0-0 as Kyogo waits to come back onto the field of play. He's allowed back on as Motherwell take the throw in on the far side. Played back the way to Spittal, left hand side, low ball in, it's not his best. Iwata clears, picked up by Casey about 10 yards inside Celtic half, back to Mugabe. Mugabe just inside his own territory, plays it forward, not a great ball by any means as Nawrocki picks up, and then O'Reilly forward for Kyogo. Kyogo tries to knock it beyond McGinn, but McGinn just gets a foot in, and then Casey back to help him out and just plays it over the halfway line. But Kyogo just beginning to come to life in the game in the last few minutes as Nawrocki crosses the halfway line and plays it out to the right hand side for Johnston. Well challenged though by Gent, midway inside the Motherwell half, throw in to Celtic. 36 and a half played, Motherwell 0, Celtic 0.
Yeah, I don't know why Kuhn comes inside and stands in beside the other centre half. It almost makes it easy for the centre half to pick him up. You want to open those 3 guys up and stay wide, and then give that centre half a decision. Do I go out and help the wing back, or do I stay inside? And that opens up then the space for the likes of Kyogo to make his little runs and so on.
Celtic have another throw in over on the far side. I've just seen a rerun of the Kyogo chance. I think he might have just slightly rolled his ankle as he was taking it on. I think maybe that's why he was needing treatment, but he's certainly back on and involved in play once more as Scales plays it to Iwata. 8 minutes of the first half remaining, still no goals as Celtic try and narrow the gap on Rangers to 2 points, 5 at the moment with this game in hand. As Lennon Miller picks up though for Motherwell, tries to feed it out to the left hand side, but straight out of play, and it'll be a throw into Celtic more or less on the halfway line. Alistair Johnston quickly throws it back to Nawrocki, and he finds his central defensive partner Liam Scales. Now Taylor on the halfway line, back for Scales it goes. Pretty even game so far, you would have to say, as Nawrocki plays it forward to O'Reilly, then gets it back, the Polish defender out to Johnston. Johnston tries to play it down the line, comes off Gent. O'Reilly keeps it in play. Gent makes another challenge, and it's out for a Celtic. No, it's actually out for a Motherwell throw-in. Must have come off O'Reilly last. The assistant referee with a far better view than me, and Gent just hobbling slightly as he moves forward. Will allow Dan Casey to take this throw-in.
I would say the pitch is not conducive to flow in football, is it? You know, the pitch is probably as poor as it's been for a number of years due to the inclement weather, the winter we've had. So it's bubbling about a little bit. Celtic aren't managing to get the tempo into the game that they want, which is probably helping Motherwell. It's making it a little bit scrappy at times.
Miller plays it forward, Nawrocki up to win the header. Spittal then nods it back forward for Bear. Poor first touch from him. Still goes in to challenge his fellow Canadian Johnson, and it breaks high for Zdravkovsky, who tries to get it back to him, but he heads it out of play, and it's a throw into Celtic. A little bit scrappy just at the moment, certainly, as Stephen said, the pitch not helping footballing matters, but Celtic have it through Liam Scales midway inside his own half. Will we get a goal before half time? Well, I think all the goals have come pretty late in this fixture so far this season. The 1-1 draw at Celtic Park, there was a Turnbull penalty after 86, and John Obika's very late equaliser, and then the previous game here, Palma put Celtic ahead in 87, Spittal equalised in 90, O'Reilly with the winner in 90+3, so maybe we will have a bit longer to wait for any goals if those games are anything to go by. Here comes Celtic though, looking to change that, but Devine steps in and pokes it forward, and then Vale helps it on for Bear. Bear holds it up, back in field for Vale, challenged by Scales, knocked out of play by Nawrocki, but it came off Vale. Yeah, Willie Collum says to a nick off Vale on its way through, and it is a Celtic throw-in just down in front of the Motherwell dugout. Stuart Kettlewell and Stevie Frail both out barking instructions to their players. Just over 5 to play in this first period. No goals as yet, as Scales plays it square to Nawrocki into the feet of Kyogo. Poor touch from him unusually, and Spittal able to play it forward, and now Bears one-on-one with Scales. What can he do here up towards the edge of the penalty area? Can he take him on? Can he get his shot away? Scales stands up well, gets the block in. Hart able to prevent it going out for a corner kick by diving to his right and clawing it away, and then Johnston picks up and plays it forward for Iwata. Now McGregor, that was a chance for Motherwell, but Bear not able to make the most of it, and here comes Celtic looking to counter and get the opening goal. It's Maida left hand side up against Devine, comes in field away from one challenge. Devine able to get something on the ball, but it breaks to McGregor about 35 yards from goal. Now Johnston midway inside the Motherwell half, out to Kuhn on the right hand side up against Gent, checks back in to McGregor, left foot on the edge of the box, tries the shot, it's blocked there, and then it's a foul on Lennon Miller by the Celtic captain, and it will be a free kick to Motherwell. 4 minutes left in this first period. Motherwell 0, Celtic 0.
Once again, it's the vision and the awareness of Blair Spittal that frees up Theo Byrne a 1v1 against Liam Scales, and that's where Celtic really have to be careful, because that's 4 or 5 occasions in this first half where central defenders have been isolated 1v1, backing off towards their own goal. Eventually, if you keep giving players those opportunities, you're going to take it. You have to say Liam Scales does eventually defend it well, but it's certainly a risky ploy, Taki.
Yeah, very, very risky. It was a really dangerous situation. I've got to say that Liam Scales came out on top. Here's a chance for Motherwell down the left-hand side.
Gent on the left, plays it into the box. It's a rather hopeful looking ball, not a particularly good one. Taylor just nods it out of play on this near side. Gent had more time and space to deliver a better ball than that, it appeared to me. But it will be a throw into Motherwell about 10 yards from the corner flag on their right-hand side as they attack. 3 minutes remaining of the opening 45 plus stoppage time at Fir Park. No goals to speak of as yet. Devine with a throw in into the feet of Vale, tracked there by McGregor, who just knocks it out of play again for another Motherwell throw in, just a little bit nearer that corner flag on the right hand side as they look for a late goal. They thought he'd scored an early goal, but Theo Bear was flagged offside inside 3 minutes as Vale gets it back to Devine. Now it's Zdravkovsky, right hand side into the feet of Miller. A lovely turn away from McGregor, lays it back now, shot, a goal! Blair Spittal has the opener, and what a goal it is! Lovely bit of play from Lennon Miller, leaving Callum McGregor standing, lays it square to Blair Spittal, who just sweeps it beyond Joe Hart from the edge of the box. That is how to finish. It's Motherwell 1, Celtic 0.
Well, I have to say, it's a wonderful finish for Blair Spittal. Does all the work. I'm not too sure how much he knows about the turn, but he finds himself free inside the box. He could have had a shot. Again, I think he was on his right hand side. He lifted his head, he rolled it across the 18-yard box, and if there was one player Kettlewell wanted to be having that strike from the edge of the box, it was Blair Spittal, just nonchalantly inside of his right foot, curled it beyond Joe Hart. And you have to say, on the basis of chances created and effort and energy and desire in the game, Motherwell to be ahead. What a goal from Blair Spittal.
Magnificent. strike. I mean, magnificent. Bending away from the goalkeeper. Joe Hart had nothing earthly when he struck that ball. No, I don't think any goalkeeper would have saved it because of the way that he struck it and the way that it bent away from the goalkeeper right into the side netting. And it was a brilliant, almost created situation to be created for him to take on that strike. Motherwell, you're right, Stephen. They deserve probably to be in the lead at this moment in time. They've had the better chances. They've worked the situations really, really well. Only their final decision at times let them down in certain situations. Celtic struggling to create one real big chance from Kyogo.
Well, how does Celtic respond to this adversity? They've not been at the top of their game by any means in the opening 45, and now they trail by Blair Spittal's 10th goal of the season to 0, and what a fabulous goal it was. Check that one out on Sports Scene tonight at 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. And also you can see how Celtic react. Stick with us for the second 45. Celtic looking to try and draw themselves level though before the half-time whistle goes. It's Greg Taylor up at the edge of the penalty area, but he can't find a way forward. He has to go back to Nawrocki. Blair Spittal with a moment of real quality there. Here's Alistair Johnston on the right hand side. That's a good ball. Idah just couldn't get it on target at the back post, stooping to try and direct it back on target, but it was too fast for him and he couldn't do it, and it's behind for a goal kick, and it remains Motherwell 1, Celtic 0.
Yeah, it was a great cross into the back post. I think you could call it a half chance. I think he was always struggling to get on the end of it because of the pace of the ball. Got himself in. He gets into those positions regularly, Idah, but there's never seems to be an end product from it. But that was a good ball, and at least it came in an early cross in between the goalkeeper and the back five, and that created the slight opportunity for Celtic.
4 minutes added on, we're into that now, as Motherwell look to ensure they go in at the interval in front. Here's Lennon Miller, who created that goal wonderfully well, and he's just knocked that one straight out of play. But the 17-year-old, you said he'd had a tough few minutes earlier in the half, Stephen, but you know, to be capable of that amount of composure, I think you're doing a little bit of a disservice with the turn. I thought he knew exactly what he was doing.
Well, I wasn't sure because there was 2 or 3 players in the vicinity. He was trying something and it came off for him, which is absolutely great. And that's the areas to try it, and you don't want to be trying it towards your own goal. So fair play to him, but you're right, he then lifts his head and has the awareness to feed it across to Blair Spittal, as opposed to panicking and thinking, I have to have a shot.
I'm perplexed, by the way, but when I'm looking at those areas in the wide areas, Motherwell playing with 2 wing backs. Celtic playing with a full back and 2 full backs and 2 wingers. It should be on all day to create 2v1s in those areas. But every time the ball goes to the centre half, Kuhn comes inside to the centre half or the left centre back, and he's easily picked up and then leaves it in a 1v1 situation. And Celtic are struggling to get down the sides.
It's a throw into Celtic over in the far side, the Celtic right, to be taken by Alistair Johnston. Here we played a minute and a half of stoppage time. Here's Nawrocki back to Joe Hart, to Liam Scales now just inside the Motherwell half. Back comes Baer, forcing him to go square to Nawrocki. Liam Scales for Taylor now, stepping forward, looking to feed it forward for Idah, but Devine cuts it out. He's had a good game, the young wing back. Motherwell have dealt with that danger and play it forward now for Baer, up against Scales once more. He just slides in, knocks it out of play into the main stand here at Fir Park. Baer picks himself up as well. He's put himself about well, caused problems for that Celtic back line.
He's been a real handful. He has, whether it's holding the ball up. Yes, at times he's a little bit loose with his touch and he could take it in, but he's good in the air. He's physically strong. He's running in behind. Liam Scales and Nawrocki, they look really uncomfortable against him.
Vale and Scales now battling it out as Scales goes back the way and just hammers it out of play again. He's looking for a free kick from the assistant, who was close to play, but it's a throw-in instead to Motherwell. A minute and a half of stoppage time yet to play. 1-0 Motherwell lead thanks to Blair Spittal's magnificent strike just a few minutes ago. Here's Lennon Miller combining with Devine once more down that right hand side. That's not a bad ball in from Devine. Scales scoops it out of play again, no, and it'll be another Motherwell throw in with just a minute to play of the stoppage time that we had added on, as Devine takes the throw in. Miller can't find a teammate that time. Idah picks up Motherwell battling away though to try and win it back, and they've done so. And here's McGinn, right hand side, trying to step away from McGregor. He's managed to get the cross in. It's not a bad cross, it's just behind Theo Bair, and there are no other Motherwell players in the penalty area, allowing Johnston, who's seems to have discarded his facial mask for the time being, and just plays it forward rather aimlessly all the way through to Liam Kelly, who will take as long as he can before Kuhn comes to try and close him down. Eventually picks up the Motherwell goalkeeper and captain, and you can hear the home fans round about us rising to their feet and finding their voices in acclaim for what's been a very impressive, you'd have to say, first half showing from them, and it'd be difficult to argue they don't deserve to go in with the advantage at the break, which will be confirmed in just a few seconds by Willie Collins' half-time whistle. And they're winless in their last 30 games against Celtic, but they've made a good fist of setting up a victory to end that particular run of form as the half-time whistle does sound. And Motherwell, well, they had the ball in the net very early in the half. That was chopped off as Theo Bair was deemed to have been offside and confirmed by VAR. Celtic really struggled for the opening half hour to really create anything until Kyogo was picked out by a terrific Callum McGregor ball, and on the spin he was denied by Liam Kelly. That was all really the Motherwell keeper had to do in that first half. And then just a couple of minutes before the end of the 45, there's a terrific bit of skill on the edge of the box from the 17-year-old Lennon Miller to free himself of Callum McGregor and then play the square ball for Blair Spittal, who swept it beyond Joe Hart from the edge of the box into the far corner. And that is why at Fir Park at half-time it's Motherwell 1, Celtic 0.
Motherwell versus Celtic.
From the edge of the box, oh, what a strike!
This is Sports Sound from BBC Radio Scotland.
Not the best in Europe, we're looking to build the greatest golf course in the world.
This is the biggest thing since the oil and gas discoveries of the 70s and really make tourism part of our economy.
He could become a champion for Scotland.
A golfing dream that became a nightmare for local people.
We had the rumour that Donald Trump was involved.
I want to get rid of that house. It's our property. We can do what we want.
This is the story of a Scottish community versus Donald Trump.
How dare this man demand people's homes?
If your name's Donald Trump, you can do anything.
Trumped. Listen on BBC Sounds.
You're listening to Sports Sound with me, Richard Gordon, where Motherwell are in command of this one midway through. Blair Spittal's wonder strike, his 10th goal of the season. Motherwell 1-0 up against Celtic. You can see all the highlights, extended highlights of this one, and of course all the action from yesterday as well. Sports Scene tonight, 7:15 on the BBC Scotland channel. We've got a busy midweek ahead. Listen out on Tuesday night. What a massive match it is for both sides, particularly Ross County at the bottom. It's County against St Mirren, various Championship and SPFL Lower League games going on that night too. So coverage then on Tuesday. And then there are 5 Premiership fixtures on Wednesday. Hearts against Hibernian, Kilmarnock Rangers. What a match up that could be. Celtic are at home to Dundee. It's Aberdeen St Johnstone, and that's a big one in the bottom half of the table right now. And also Livingston against Motherwell. And there will be a Sports Scene on Wednesday night as well, 10:40, BBC One Scotland, with all the midweek highlights. And next Friday, Championship Live. It never disappoints, does it? Arbroath against Wraith Rovers is next week's offering. Our offering this afternoon, of course, live commentary here from Fir Park, where Motherwell have the lead. Blair Spittal, the talisman for Motherwell this season, was the man who scored it. He's now joint top scorer alongside Theo Bair. The goal was a thing of beauty, but they threatened Stephen Craigan so many times, didn't they?
They did, and it was very simple and very easy for them in the early stages of the game, Richard. It wasn't really as if it was 5 and 6 passes and good link-up play. It was just simply a long ball over the top. And I'm not taking any credit away from the likes of Blair Spittal or Lennon Miller, who were playing those passes. The option was there for them because the Celtic back line was so disjointed, they were so high, and there was space for Theo Bair, there was space for Jack Vale to go and work in. So when that opportunity is presented to you, you have to go and take it. Of course, the players have to have the execution to put the pass into those areas to threaten and to allow the centre forwards to run. but it probably summed up Celtic's defensive performance so far, that it's 4 individuals playing in the back 4. There's no real connection, there's no leadership, there's nobody dragging people together, there's no communication. They just look as if it's a right back, 2 centre halves and a full back playing on their own and looking after their own little bit of space, as opposed to looking for your teammate and trying to cover each other and trying to help out. Motherwell have tried to exploit it, they've had a little bit of success from it. I thought it was going to drift off to half-time at 0-0, which I'm sure Stuart Kettlewell would have been absolutely delighted with. I said to you ahead of the game that Motherwell need a complete performance to win the game. They've had a complete 45, so there's still 45 to go. And I'm sure you watched the game up at Aberdeen recently after 25 minutes when they're 3-0 up. So with this Motherwell team, you can't take anything for granted. However, they've put themselves in a really good position. I think they've worked ever so hard. They've missed too many first passes at times when they've turned the ball over in midfield. They've given it away straight away. The option is there that if they make the first pass and the second pass, they can then play forward and look to hurt Celtic. But all round, it's been a good, competent first half, but there's certainly a lot of work to do.
Yeah, a lot of work to do, but they've been strong defensively this afternoon, haven't they? And I know, appreciate, because we saw the Jekyll and Hyde of them in particular in that game at Pittodrie, but they've curtailed Celtic. There has been the early Greg Taylor strike from outside the box. There was Dazimai, a half chance, but he slid in the back post. It really was just that one clear opening, wasn't it, for Kyogo?
And I think the manager deserves a bit of credit because the shape of the team is very good. And I know Packy's a little bit frustrated that Celtic have or should have a 2v1 in wide areas. The 3 midfield players, or the outside of the midfield 3, Lennon Miller's working ever so hard to get the Greg Taylor on this left-hand side for Celtic, and I think Blair Spittal's working ever so hard to get across to Alistair Johnston. The back 5 haven't really moved. They're staying in situ. They're not wanting to come out of their slots. They're going to force Celtic to try and play around them or over the top of them or through them, and they haven't managed to do it. They've done it once. I think you mentioned it on Kyogo. That was the one. So I'm sure Stuart will be trying to address that. But they're hard to play against. They're resolute. They're resilient. They need to do that same thing again. Celtic have to be better. I would imagine Adam Idah may come on at some stage. May come on at some stage. They have to mix it up because what they're doing at the minute simply isn't good enough. Plus, Backy will go on to it. The 2 wide players have to take more risks for Celtic. You're a wide player because you want to go 1v1 against people. You don't want to get the ball and pass it off to someone else. Take a little bit of responsibility.
Well, let's find out just how frustrated Pat Bonner is.
Very watching that. And I'm frustrated because Celtic haven't asked questions of Motherwell. They've not asked any questions. They've gone out and they've played their positions fine, kept the ball flowing, that's fine. But you've got to go and ask the opposition, we're going to do something different here. And I'm frustrated because I look at the right-hand side especially. On the left is slightly different. Maeda, they know he's quick, they know he's strong, he'll get in behind. So Paul McGinn's coming across, young Miller's doing his job. Adam Devine, they're doing their job in Maeda and doing it quite well, and that's a difficult one. Greg Taylor's not been able to overlap him and so on for the pass. But on the other side, it's really frustrating watching it. Nicholas Kuhn is playing as a winger. You've got Johnson as a fullback, 2v1. Okay, what Kuhn's doing is going inside too early. He's going in and top. Dan Casey's delighted, absolutely delighted as a centre half. Come on in here, I'll pick you up, and you're not going to get any. And if he stays wide, he gets the ball. The first thing in his mind is he only put one cross to the back post in that whole 45 minutes. Celtic, who should be dominating the ball, and you have a winger there, and he comes back and he gives it back, or he'll run inside and he'll give it to somebody square in midfield and so on. His job is to get the ball and go and attack the young wing back, and if he can't do it, Alistair Johnston should be either going on the inside or on the outside, giving him an opportunity where he can slide him in. And if he doesn't go, Mattarelli can go from midfield. The other problem is you've got the centre half, Nawrocki. He's picking the ball up. He's going to, go on, drive into midfield, ask questions of the midfielder. He has to come to you, frees up Mattarelli. But he's going halfway, and then he's just hitting that simple pass, either wide or to Alistair Johnson. They're not asking questions of that midfield. That midfield of Motherwell are really doing well, but they're not being challenged. They're sliding across really, really well. They're taking care of McGregor, O'Reilly, and somebody sitting in on a Wata, and they're just getting it wide. And the wide areas is where Celtic needs to, that's for me where, and especially down the right side, where they can exploit this, but they're not thinking about it. I don't know what it is, whether it's lack of confidence, whether it's decision making, whether it's players
is
who
it tactics, is it instructions
tactics
from the
also,
manager?
all these things you would ask.
Because just to add further to the Brendan Rodgers against Ange Postecoglou tactical setup, when Ange Postecoglou was manager at Celtic and he came up against the back 5, his 2 wide players stood on the touchline. And they made sure Motherwell's back 5, or on this occasion, would have stayed as a back 5. But because Kuhn's coming inside and Maeda's going inside, it's making it easy for Dan Casey as a left centre half. He just pops on. That's your point. He pops on and picks up Kuhn, and Georgie Gent just picks up Alistair Johnson.
Absolutely.
Whereas if they stay wide, then what do they do?
Well, then they have to make a decision. Do I go tight with him as a wing back? Does somebody else come in on and make a run beyond me? Now I've got to track him. Does the centre half go out of the space that he wants to protect on the inside? The one time the Celtic exploited was when McGregor picked the ball up over on the right-hand side and he slid a ball through for Kyogo to run down the side of the centre halves. Now, I'm not sure if Dan Casey was out of position then, but certainly there was a space where they exploited. You've got to start moving people around. Brendan talked about it before the game. He says they've worked hard on positioning early, getting into positions. That means movement.
Yeah.
But I don't see that movement working.
Well, you picked up on that beforehand. You said that's what you'd be looking for. You clearly are not getting it. Just look, I know it's by no means just about Nicholas Kuhn, but this is like deja vu all over again. But in terms of your assessment of the game at Easter Road.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I don't want to criticise any young man coming in, but when you come in, you've got to make an impact.
He doesn't go past. He doesn't go past the defender.
He doesn't want to go past. He doesn't set himself. Even if he loses the ball by trying to go past, at least you've tried to create something. But if you get a ball and your first touch is almost, well, I'll turn back again and give it back to a midfielder or a centre half or wherever. Go on. If you do it 10 times and you get 3-4 crosses, telling crosses in, get to the byline, cut them back, whatever it is, or you link up with somebody to go into that position, then you're doing your job. I just don't see it. I don't know whether it's he feels that maybe does he fit into the Celtic team yet? He's a young man, he's only come to the club, and you've got to give him time. Absolutely understand that, but Celtic don't have time. That's the problem. They need to win games. They need players on that pitch that can go and absolutely create now and make chances. How many times has the ball come across that near post? What have we seen before in the past? Kyogo in the near post, bang, goal. The ball never comes there anymore. There was one good cross from Alistair Johnson, but it was a one of them that was hit really early from an early position, high out, almost level with the corner of the box, in between. It was a difficult ball for Idah to get onto, and that's it. That's it for me. Nothing else. Motherwell have had the better chances. They've worked hard. Their decision making at times in midfield let them down when they could have been better positions, and they've got their goal, and it was a brilliantly worked goal, I've got to say. I know you didn't give credit to the young man on the right hand side, but I thought he did really well.
To say it again.
You're just an old cynic, Stephen.
Yeah, Richard, you've got to be. But sorry, just further on from that point, when you think back about Kyogo and people are talking about he's not the same player, he doesn't look the same player. He knew last year when Leila Barra got the ball wide in the right, the cross was going to come in. He knew when Jota got the ball wide in the left, the ball was probably going to come in. And he knew when Rio Hatate picked the ball up in midfield, he was probably going to look for him. So suddenly he's thinking, my three options last year, the supply chain that I had last year is no longer here. And I know we can't keep harping back to it, but that's the main difference for Celtic. They don't have those penetrating passes, those dangerous crosses that are allowing Kyogo to be the player that he is.
Listen, when Jota was in the team, and I don't want to be turning back to players, we all can talk about the great wingers of Celtic, the David Provis and Jimmy Johnson and all these, but that day's gone. Jota's gone now. But when you think about him, he could go on the inside, he could go on the outside, he could get beyond people, he could create goals, he had a trickery in him, and that opened up spaces, and it also made opposition fear him, and decisions, people then had to go double up on him, that created space elsewhere. I'm looking at this and I'm saying, wow, a wing back, I'll take care of him, don't worry about that. Yeah.
Right, Stephen, I think we need just to allow Pat a few moments just to settle back down. You're very energised by the whole situation. Unlike Celtic, it has to be said, in terms of their performance. Motherwell, meantime, Stephen, you laid out all those boxes that have to be ticked. As of now, they've ticked every single one of them, haven't they, in the first 45 minutes?
They have, but you said 45 minutes, and I said ahead of the game it has to be 90 plus, and that's what they have to do. So they've set the benchmark for how they're going to play in the second half. I can't imagine Celtic are going to be as timid and as passive and as safe in the second half as they are in the first half. They simply cannot afford to be. Someone has to take a little bit of responsibility. Has the Callum McGregor positional change worked? Probably not. They haven't had enough ball to him. Maybe he hasn't had enough from the final third. Awata hasn't probably been defensively as sound. or hasn't started the game or linked the game the way Callum McGregor would do in that number 6 role. So Celtic probably need Callum McGregor playing where Awata is, and they probably need Callum McGregor playing. And they need Callum McGregor playing where Callum McGregor is. That's just the nature of the business. I used to say that about David Turnbull when he was at Motherwell. We needed David Turnbull to get the ball and pass it to David Turnbull because he knew what to do at the opposite end of the pitch. And Celtic now have that same problem with Callum McGregor. They need him in both positions to try and influence the game. But Kuhn has to take responsibility. Maida needs to shake himself up. He's not showing anywhere near the level of performance that he did last season, and beyond that, he has to be bright, he's got to be lively, he's got to get at people, he's got to show his pace. And rather than just knocking the ball around nonchalantly, hoping something's going to happen, someone's going to have to put their head above the parapet and go and grab the game by the scruff of the neck. I'm looking at that Celtic team and I'm thinking, there's no leaders, there's nobody driving the team, there's nobody grabbing people and pushing them on and trying to force the issue. Far too passive. That is as easy a first half as a Motherwell back 5 will ever have against Celtic. I doubt it'll be the same in the second half.
Big round of applause around 3/4 of the stadium as the Motherwell players make their way back out. Here come Celtic as well. No indication of any changes at this point. I think most of the Celtic players are back out there. We'll keep our eyes peeled down at the side of the touchline, but will they call them out with the ball? And Motherwell are midway towards what would be a notable victory for them. I think there is going to be a change, and it is Idah who is coming on for Kyogo for the second half. There is a statement, unless of course there is an injury to the Japanese who did require a little bit of treatment earlier on. Right, second half about to get up and running. Stephen Craig and Pat Bonner and Al Lamont.
Thanks again, Rich. Rich has given you the substitution news there. Yeah, Hugo did, as I say, I think he rolled his ankle slightly when he took the shot late in the first period, and he did look uncomfortable, and he has been replaced by Idah. So it's a completely different option up front now for Celtic, a different challenge for the Motherwell backline as they look to hold on for their first win in 31 against Celtic. You have to go back to Celtic Park in December 2015 under Mark McGee when Louis Moult scored a double to earn the victory, and you have to go back even further to April 2013 for the last home win against Celtic, a 3-1, and they've lost 13 and drawn 4 since. Here comes Celtic looking to draw themselves level, but swept away out of the penalty area. Iwata will pick up as Celtic attack the goal away to our right hand side where their fans are gathered in this second period. But Brendan Rodgers needs more from every single one of those players out there than he got in the first period. And he said to Jane pre-match that had a good week's training. Well, it hasn't really translated to the pitch so far, but there's still time to change all that as McGregor picks up on the left-hand side, and now it's Taylor back to Nawrocki. One thing they've got to do is raise the tempo. Celtic are always at their best when they're playing at a high tempo. They're difficult to handle when they're doing so. Here's Kuhn in off the right-hand side, and the left foot clips it in. Easy one for Mugabe to head clear. Baer tries to release Vale down the left, and Nawrocki just turns it out of play. And that's what Motherwell really probably need to do, Stephen, is try and hit them on the counter, because they are going to, you would imagine, have to absorb a lot of pressure in this second period.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Theo Baer and Jack Vale have really kept Nawrocki and Liam Scales honest the full game. Even there's just a simple ball pops out, how often the centre forwards just give up and not chase it down. He chases it down, Jack Vale, and forces Nawrocki to put it out for a throw, and so they're always a good outlet.
Mugabe's lost it to Idah just about, but he just manages to recover and get it back to him again, who just hoists it out of play, and that encourages the Celtic fans away to our right. Mugabe, you always feel there might be a mistake in him, but he gets his head to the ball there, and he can be a very effective defender, but you do imagine he just needs to keep it simple. Here come Motherwell though at the other end. The goal scorer Spittal into the penalty area off the head of Scales before Baer could capitalise. Spittal almost winning it back there off O'Reilly. Celtic still with some defending to do here. Baer trying to keep it alive inside the penalty area. Celtic struggling to get it clear. It's Vale on the edge of the box, turns away from O'Reilly. Now it's Jarkowski, and back the way to McGinn. McGinn closed down by Maida, tries the ball on the inside of Taylor, but he read it before Devine could make any headway down that right hand side for Motherwell. Devine's got it back though and got it to Baer, and then it's played forward by Miller. He was looking to try and play Devine in again, but he didn't quite get that one right, and it's through to Joe Hart. 3 minutes of the second half played, and it's still Motherwell 1, Celtic 0. But here comes Kuhn trying to get in. That's a very, very fierce challenge from Dan Casey, who's actually, I think, pulled a hamstring in the process there, and I think he's going to almost certainly have to be replaced. But he was taking absolutely no prisoners as he slid in on the angle of the box to dispossess Kuhn. And I wouldn't be too surprised if Motherwell have to make an early change here, Stephen Craigan.
Well, he had to get it right. Timing had to be perfect. If he hadn't, he could have put himself in a lot of trouble. He gambled early, he went to ground, perfectly timed tackle, slid the ball out of play. He is just back after a long injury. I always think Motherwell's a better team when he's in the back three. He's been really solid, really aggressive this afternoon, but when a player grabs the back of his leg, you can't help but fear the worst. There's going to be a hamstring injury and a possible substitution.
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? And it's good to see the sliding tackle back again, but it's also good to see somebody executed properly. Listen, he went right through, plus his own player, I think, took him out, but he's got injured. Whether he's done it in the tackle or whether he's done it when he got up to go after the ball again, I'm not 100% sure, but they will have to make a change. They will have to do it quickly if they're going to do it, because that's a very important position.
It's actually coming back on, so it's clearly not a hamstring strain, because there's no way you're playing on if you've done your hammy. Well, we'll see how long he lasts at least, but he is back on and play back underway. But it was a full-blooded challenge going back to the blood and snotters periods of Packy's pomp.
Lovely description, Al.
Here come Celtic down the right hand side. Alistair Johnston, good cross in, but Mugabe gets it clear. Kuhn trying to keep it alive inside that penalty area. Motherwell have dealt with it. Picked up by Iwata, right hand side, keeps it in play as Celtic look for a leveller earlier in this first period. It's Scales now coming out of the centre circle and finding Taylor. Taylor clips it into the box, looking for Idah. Great goal! Adam Idah, an immediate impact off the bench at half time, and he's drawn Celtic level as he towered above the Motherwell defence to head beyond Liam Kelly. It's Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, what a good header. Ray in a great position, right in the middle of that 6-yard box when that ball's played in with pace. All he's got to do is direct it on goal. Beat his, I think it was Casey that was up against him. Whether he's been affected with that injury, I'm not 100% sure, but certainly got up high. Great to see Adam Idah score from open play. He's scored a couple of penalties already, but he's made an impact as soon as he's come on the pitch.
Well, we spoke at half-time, cross the ball. Clearly he's a different proposition than what Kyogo is. He's more physical, he wants to get against players, but any doubt in your mind, cross the ball into the box, gives your centre forwards a chance to get in the end of it. It's simple football. Great finish, got a great header.
Yeah, it was a really powerful, towering header from Adam Idah to score his third goal for the club. He got 2 penalties, as Packy said, at Easter Road to win that one, and he's given his side some real hope of being able to win this one as well, having got them level so early in this second period.
Yeah, the thing, interesting thing, there's no complication in that. Get the ball wide, put it in, good cross into an area, let the centre forward go and attack it, and that's exactly, don't have to be intricate in your passing or anything of that nature. Get the ball in the box.
And now it's the visiting fans who rejoice, but they'll be looking for another one at the very least. They need the 3 points here this afternoon, no doubt about that, as Casey just knocks the ball off O'Reilly, I think, down the right-hand side, just at a little bit of the pitch that's slightly obscured from our view, but it will be a Motherwell throw-in on their left-hand side to be taken by Casey, who does look to have recovered from the whatever knock he took in making the challenge earlier on Kuhn. Here's Lennon Miller, and now Vale on the halfway line, challenged by a combination of Iwata and Maida. He wants a free kick, he's not going to get it, and Celtic have it back, and the home fans not happy with that lack of decision as Taylor plays out to the left hand side. It was a terrific ball in from, here's McGregor now, low ball this time, defended by Mugabe out of the penalty area, and Iwata gets it to Nawrocki. Now O'Reilly, Celtic playing with a bit more verve at the start of this second period, and clearly the goal has lifted them as Johnston goes back to Iwata, slightly fortuitously gets it to the left hand side to McGregor, who's put too much weight on the pass for Maida, unlike the Celtic skipper, who's usually so good in measuring his passes. and it will be a goal kick to Motherwell, and it's Motherwell 1, Celtic 1 with 53 played.
Yeah, and I think Motherwell just have to ride out this storm. Naturally, when Celtic get the goal, the crowd go up behind the goal. There's a real energy, a renewed energy about Celtic. They want to get the next one. They want to get themselves ahead. So Motherwell just maybe have to absorb a little bit of pressure. Make sure you're resolute. Be difficult to play against. Be difficult to play through. Don't concede a quick second, otherwise the game can get away from you.
Liam Kelly to take the goal kick. Down this left-hand side, Spittal beaten in the jump by Johnston and picked up by the Irishman Idah. Idah plays it forward. That's a good ball for Kuhn. Kuhn at the edge of the box. Casey just trying to shepherd him away from goal, and eventually gets a good challenge in to knock it behind. But Adam Idah's introduction has made a real difference for Celtic. He's given them a real spark. He's got the goal and almost set up Kuhn for the opportunity there as well.
Yeah, good initial control and getting away from his defender, and then picking a really good pass. That time Kuhn running through the middle, so he was alert, just couldn't have the physical attributes up against Casey to get his shot away.
Corner kick for Celtic, left-hand side, to be taken by the left foot of O'Reilly. It's an outswinger, and Baird gets his head to it, and then Devine helps it out of the box. Vale will try and latch on to it. It's been dragged back there by Greg Taylor. It's going to be a yellow card for the Celtic fullback. But he had to make the foul, I think, because if Vale could have got the pass off to his left-hand side, he had a runner. And Willie Collum wants a free kick taken again. It was taken too quickly for his liking, as he was still making a note of Greg Taylor's name in his little black book. And Taylor into that book as Motherwell will have the free kick just inside their own half. But it was a quick breakaway from Motherwell. Could have been dangerous. And Taylor taking one for the team in the end, as McGinn plays the free kick up towards the edge of the box. Johnston heads it clear. Forward by Stravkovsky for Spittal. Spittal helps on Baird, causing problems again for Nawrocki. Spittal takes over once more. Johnston makes the challenge on him, but Spittal still has it down at the corner flag on the left-hand side. A little back heel. Kuhn in there to knock it away only as far as Stravkovsky. Sends it in back post. Headed towards goal. Terrific save from Joe Hart. It's a brilliant header, came in from Lennon Miller at the back post, and Hart, I think that was going to just dip under the crossbar, and Hart reacted brilliantly to tip it over, and Motherwell responding to the loss of the early goal in the second half with a good attack of their own and almost going back in front.
Listen, it was a great header because he was almost facing away from goal, and he's kind of almost clipped it with the back of his head towards the goal. Good save from George. It was a nice height for him to tip over. We've got a game on now, I've got to say.
Corner kick then from the right-hand side for Motherwell, to be taken by Georgie Gent as they look to get their noses back in front. It's a good ball in, but it's just too high for Dan Casey to really be able to get any meaningful header on it. It's behind for the Celtic goal kick, but as Packy says, it is very much game on here. 56 on the clock, Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
And I think that'll do Motherwell the world of good, because when you go behind, it's easy just to sit back and take a step back and not carry the fight to the opposition. So having that little passage of play, that little attempt and goal, will just convince them that there possibly still is a victory here for them, but they have to make sure they defend properly.
Johnston with a poor ball forward, and Liam Kelly will come out to the left-hand side of his penalty area and gather that one. Adam Idah denying him the space to quickly kick it long. I think he was, if I'm not being disrespectful here, probably an underwhelming signing for the Celtic fans, as he came in on loan at the tail end of the January transfer window from Norwich. But from what I've seen, he's proved his worth so far, Packy.
Yeah, this is very early days. He's got to. I'm delighted he scored from open play. As I said, you know, 2 penalties, fine, good, great for confidence for the young man. But if he can add those goals from open play, I think then he's a real threat. You know, but I thought last week he held the ball up really well and brought players into the game. He's done it again coming onto this pitch today. So I think he's got that ability also, which is good.
Good play from Celtic, and it's Johnston out to the right-hand side for Kuhn, about 20 yards from the goal line, up against Georgie Gent, but it's a cross that is deflected, and Celtic pick up once more, and it's McGregor back to Nawrocki on the centre circle, forward for Liam Scales. Scales for Idah, can't link up with a teammate that time, and then Vale is brought to the ground by Iwata midway inside the Motherwell half. Willie Collum on hand to award the free kick. 1-1 it stands, and Motherwell having gone ahead late in the first period, dragged back to level terms by Idah, the substitutes. Early header. Interesting that Idah is the first option that Brendan Rodgers goes to, rather than O, who had been his replacement up until Idah's arrival, certainly.
What I would say on Idah is, I think he knows the British game. He knows the rigours of it. He knows the physicality and what's demanded of playing him, whether it's a Scottish game or an English Championship game. So it hasn't bothered him coming up. He loves getting physical with people. He loves getting tight and rolling people.
So there's Theo Bair, who's trying to latch onto that long ball. Eventually it falls to Spittal, who plays it out to Gent, left-hand side for Motherwell, midway inside the Celtic half. Now Zdravkovsky for McGinn inside the centre circle. It's a poor touch. Maidah's nicked it off him. Celtic have a overload here. Can Idah stay onside so that Idah can find him? Still Idah on the edge of the box. Mugabe holds him up. Back with Iwata to the right-hand side for O'Reilly. 20 yards from goal. Tries to curl it, but it's blocked by Zdravkovsky. It was a really bad error by McGinn, but looks like Motherwell have got away with it as the hour mark approaches. Still 1-1. Scales for Johnston. Now O'Reilly once more, about 30 yards from the Motherwell goal. Waits for Johnston to overlap him. Into the area it comes. A poor attempted clearance there by Casey. O'Reilly clips it back in. Idah gets something on it. Devine knocks it away. Motherwell just toiling slightly at the moment, but they have knocked it forward. And again, Bair in a one-on-one with Scales, who does just enough to get it out to the left-hand side for Greg Taylor. But so often Celtic are leaving Bair one-on-one, whether it's with Nawrocki or Scales, and you do fear from a Celtic perspective that they might get caught as a result of that. But does mean they've got an extra man going forward, as they are doing just now, and it's Johnston out to Kuhn on the right hand side of the Motherwell penalty area. Infield to O'Reilly. O'Reilly stands to the back post. Oh, it's a brilliant defensive header from Adam Devine. It looked like Idah was going to knock that into the back of the net. Still Celtic come. It's Taylor looking for Iwata. It's a poor pass, and then there's a foul by a Celtic player in the edge of the box. It gives Motherwell a free kick and a bit of respite as Motherwell survive their terrific intervention. Celtic about to make a double change here. We'll come to you on that chance in just a moment, but it's Cameron Carter-Vickers who's coming on for Mike Nawrocki, and also coming on, is it Yang, I think, for Nicholas Kuhn. No great surprise there, Packy, but just going back to that chance there, did look like Idah was about to put Celtic in front. Stephen, and Devine intervened.
Yeah, I have to say it's brilliant defending, isn't it? Where we are, it looked as if Adam Devine got himself caught onto the ball and Idah had a free header in, but he manages to adjust his body. He contorts himself, so he manages to get the flick on it. So it's a huge header for him, it really is, and it'll do him a world of good defensively. Already I can see improvements in his defensive structure than what he was in his early stages.
Can we call that divine intervention, Packy, do you think?
Yeah, very much so. He had to, because although Idah kind of struggled to know what he was going to do with the ball, it was kind of, does he get a shot away, does he pass it, does he go by the player? It just was kind of, none of us knew, and it fluttered out. But from that perspective, I think the intensity's gone up. I think it's gone up from Celtic too, and I think Adam Idah has helped. He's a threat now, and they can play it into him. I think they've opened up a little bit in midfield too, where McGregor and O'Reilly has kind of almost stretched the midfield, and that stretches the midfield players of Motherwell, and they're not maybe getting close enough to them. The distance is slightly different, and that's just giving Celtic a little bit more time and controlling the ball.
Motherwell have got a free kick just inside their own half. For one, Spittal gets it wrong. He just tried to play it in behind for Jack Vale, who'd been the player fouled in the first instance, to give Motherwell the free kick, but it comes to nothing. And here's Carter-Vickers back in action after missing the last four. He's had an injury-plagued season. It's just his 19th appearance, and certainly his presence and ability have been a big miss for Celtic. As Yang, his fellow substitute, tries to play it forward. It's not a good ball from him though, and Motherwell bring it forward. And Spittal tries to play it with the outside of the right boot down the line, but it's gone out of play. And so we're on, 62.5 minutes, and it's still Motherwell 1, Celtic 1, and it's still anyone's game.
Yeah, Cameron Carter-Vickers is a player who doesn't mind going 1v1 against centre forwards. He's got good recovery pace, good physical prowess, so Brendan Rodgers has no fear putting him on if he ends up one-on-one against Theo Bair.
Yeah, you've got to think that's what is in Brendan Rodgers' mind there. Carter-Vickers, if he can stay clear of injury for the rest of the season, could be a huge player for Celtic as they look to retain their league title. Idah managing to get the ball before Jack Vale, clipped forward by Johnston, but all the way through to Liam Kelly, who just bowls it overarm to Paul McGinn, who'll still be breathing a sigh of relief, you would imagine, for his error that almost allowed Dyson Idah in. Well, it did allow him in, but he didn't really make the most of it, as Motherwell tried to sweep it out to the left-hand side, but it's cut out by Yang, and now it's O'Reilly in the middle of the park, back out to Yang, right-hand side, and back for Johnston midway inside his own half. It's a good ball to the left for Greg Taylor. The sun coming out here in Motherwell as Mugabe gets his head to the through ball. McGinn just trying to help on. He just looks slightly nervy at the moment, and Idah has it for Taylor, and now it's McGregor left-hand side. Taylor, who provided the assist for that Idah goal. It's a poor pass this time from the fullback, and Motherwell bring it away, or at least they tried to, but Yang's nicked it at the edge of the box, and he just tried to step inside, and Motherwell again almost causing their own problems. Spittle's hurt himself at the edge of the box as he tried to stretch for the ball. Again they get away with it, and then Carter Vickers going in late on Jack Vale, and that's going to be a free kick.
It's a yellow card surely, but if he's going to give the foul, he's got to give the yellow card, you'd imagine.
Yeah, he was very late. Just on Yang there, just keep going. I don't know why he wanted to check back inside when the space was there. I think he was beyond the defender, and just drive in and have a strike at goal. He was lucky to get the ball, but that was an opportunity for him.
You said Paul McGinn was breathing a sigh of relief. Well, he tried to set them up again. He had a really heavy touch. Did you cover the Morton game in the Cup?
Yeah.
He had a really heavy touch, and that game was effective for the second goal. That's the second time. So when you play against Celtic, you've got to be diligent. You can't afford to keep presenting them with the ball.
No yellow card, incidentally, for Carter Vickers for that challenge, but it is a free kick which has been taken by Kelly. Here's McGinn again. He just needs to settle. He's knocked this one back to Kelly just outside his penalty area, knocks it long. Bear was offside, but Vale will chase, but in vain, as Joe Hart comes off his line and collects that. 65 on the clock, Motherwell 1, Celtic 1. Certainly if you'd offered Stuart Kettlewell a point before the game, he would have taken it without doubt, but having led, he'd be disappointed to have lost a goal so early in the second half and given Celtic something to work with. That's another wonderful bit of skill from Blair Spittal to move away from Yang, but eventually he's dispossessed, and Yang will come forward down the right hand side. It's not a great ball in, but Casey can't deal with it. Mugabe does, just hoiks it out of play, and at this stage you would have to say that Celtic look the likelier side to go on and get the next goal. Motherwell will have to deal with that. Here's Carter Vickers just inside his own half. Joe Hart well out of his goal to take the pass and then play it out to Liam Scales. Into the Motherwell half he comes, out to the left hand side now with Taylor. Taylor checks back forward, then his pass is cut out and it's forward to Bear, but in steps Idah to rob him, and Motherwell find it more difficult in this second half to get up the pitch and for their forwards to hold the ball up.
Yeah, certainly much sharper in the second half, you've got to say. They're winning the second ball also, and they're moving the ball, I think, much better.
Carter Vickers looking for options, eventually clips it to Taylor, who goes further to the left for Idah. Idah looking to take on Devine. It's a great ball in, and Yang at the back post. There was a tight angle certainly, and he can't get it back on target, well into the stand behind Liam Kelly's goal, but good delivery. And the first time Idah's really managed to take on his man and get a ball into the box, Packy.
Yeah, and there's no big sort of kind of, you know, what would I call it? No big surprise and what to do. Just get the ball out to your feet, get it past the defender and put it in there with pace, and that's exactly what he did. Okay, it was a little bit maybe on the heavy side pace-wise, but at the end of the day, it was into a great area.
Don't complicate the game. There's a wide play, one job. Move the ball, see a space, fired across the goal, then put the onus on centre forwards and midfield players.
You make it sound so easy, Stephen.
It is, Alistair.
It is easy.
It is. Players complicate the game and want to come inside and want to link up and want to be inverted. You're a winger because you want to go outside people, not inside into space, into bodies.
But then if you're a winger, you want to play on the side that you naturally kick with, right? Rather than, so that's the manager's decision to play you as an inverted.
You should
winger.
Be two-footed in the modern game, Al.
That's a different argument altogether, isn't it? Devine has cut out the ball forward from Taylor, and it's an opportunity for Motherwell to try and create something here. Devine sends it in, Vale at the header, but it's well off target. Johnston doing just enough to put him off there at the back post, and no threat for Joe Hart to deal with there. 68 minutes played at Fir Park. It's Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
been a brilliant game, got to say. The second half has really came alive. Greg Taylor's had a really tough 5 or 6 minutes. 2 or 3 times he's presented the ball to Motherwell. He was the one that passed it to Adam Devine on that occasion and allowed him to put the cross in for Jack Vale. So he's got to smarten up, but a really good game.
Johnston's played that forward for Yang, who is on his favoured side as he plays it in right-footed, but it's dealt with by Casey at the near post. Spittal with a poor header though is giving it back to Yang inside the penalty area, steps away from one, shot is charged down by Casey, claims for a handball. VAR will have a look at that just to check one way or the other. Idah has it on the left-hand side. Taylor now for McGregor, but 25 yards from goal. Back to Taylor, left-hand side of the box. Closed down, but has to go back the way to Iwata, midway inside the Motherwell half. He in turn goes back to Scales. Stuart Kettlewell is trying to desperately get his players up the park, but they're entrenched inside their own penalty area right now as it's clipped back into the edge of the 6-yard box, away by Gent. Spittal can't keep a hold of it, and Johnston picks up. McGregor though presents it to Zdravkovsky, who looked to be fouled there, but Willie Collum plays it on with Motherwell still in possession, but it's out of play, and Willie Collum, he was momentarily just asking the play to be stopped, because I think there was a check going on, but he's quickly said no, play on, no handball for the claim just a moment ago when the shot came in at the edge of the penalty area. Celtic have it. We've got just over 20 minutes to play here. 1-1 it stands. Celtic get themselves back level early in the second period with Adam Idah off the bench at half-time to score a fabulous header in response to Blair Spittal's even better strike at the end of the first half, which gave Motherwell the advantage. Carter Vickers is just nudged to the ground there by Jack Vale, and it'll be a Celtic free kick midway inside the Motherwell half, and an opportunity here, but they've taken it quickly and short. And it's O'Reilly out to Yang for Johnston inside the box, and a great ball. Idah, he's got to score at the back post, and he's sent it wide instead. Brilliant ball across the face of goal from Alistair Johnston. Idah arriving, and he got a connection on it, but he steers it wide instead of on target, and remains Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
Exactly what we talked about. You overlap on the inside or the outside. Overlap and underlap is the word, and he got himself into a great position. Johnston. Yang just fed him in over across the 6-yard box at the back post, and there was Idah again. How many times we see it? He gets into great positions. It always comes off his head.
It almost seemed impossible for him to put the ball to where he put it. It seemed easier to put the ball in the back of the net to try and somehow get it wide, but another let off from Motherwell. Celtic really up the tempo.
Joe Hart's been closed down there by Jack Vale, and it's a goal kick in the end. He just gets away with that. Vale's hurt himself in closing down there.
He hesitated, Joe. Just play it away. I know there's nobody in a right back position for you, but play it into the space. Let them go and deal with it, but don't hesitate in your almost inside your 6-yard box.
Well, he was inside the 6-yard box, and just managed to get away with that as Vale's challenge sent the ball wide of goal, but Joe Hart could have been picking the ball out of his net again there as Johnston at the other end sends in, and Idah again rises at the back post, but Devine doing enough to put him off, and again Idah can't threaten Liam Kelly's goal, but it's end to end at the moment. It's anyone's 3 points if they can go and take it. And well, the 2 contests so far this season have been hard fought. Celtic winning by the odd goal in 3 back in the end of September, 1 each at Celtic Park and 1 each it stands here as Motherwell are thinking about another change here with about 18 minutes left on the clock plus stoppage time. Liam Kelly preparing to take the goal kick.
I think Motherwell look a little bit leggy. They put so much into the game. You consider the first half, the hard work, the hard yards, the marking, the running. Eventually it takes its toll, and Celtic really have upped the tempo, so Stuart needs to bring fresh enthusiasm on.
Here's McGregor, never lacking enthusiasm himself, gets it back from Taylor just inside his own half, plays it square then for Johnston. Johnston nudges it forward for O'Reilly. O'Reilly out to the right hand side for Yang. First time ball in, isn't a bad one. Idah just over the top. Well, it's 3 chances in the space of a few minutes that Idah's had. That wasn't a bad one. Again, Devine doing just enough to put him off as he arrived and got on the end of Yang's ball into the box. But Celtic are a different team this second half.
Yeah, I think he was unlucky there because the ball's come to him. He's almost fallen down when he's striking it, just to keep it down, keep the ball down. Would have been the key to that, but he's just got it and it lifted it over the crossbar. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The substitutions come on here for Motherwell. I think Stevens called it, for the freshness in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, Sam Nicholson is going to come on and replace Jack Vale, who I think's been terrific and does look like he's been a good January acquisition, especially in the absence of Mika Biret, who's gone back down south, and Callum Butcher is going to replace Stan Casey, who took a knock earlier in the half, and just trying to freshen things up at the back for Motherwell. Slight change in the back line with Butcher going into the middle of it and Mugabe the right of the back three, McGinn coming to the left. So a couple of changes there for Motherwell, as Stephen says, just to freshen things up, because they have put so much into the game, and it's just beginning to take its toll with just about 15 minutes or thereabouts to play, as Theo Bair chases one down up against Carter Vickers. Good contest there physically, and Bair gets there just ahead of Carter Vickers, and it's out on the right hand side for Motherwell. Back with Zdravkovsky, who finds McGinn out to the left hand side now for Gent with a poor touch. He was just on his heels there, and it's out of play for a Celtic throw in just down in front of us, midway inside their own half. 74 on the clock, in fact, and it's Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
And the onus is on Celtic, isn't it? I wouldn't say they've got a bigger challenge ahead of them trying to chase down Rangers. Motherwell, of course, trying to stay in the division, but when you're the overwhelming favourites, the onus is always on you to go and chase the game and try and get the winner, which could present Motherwell the chances.
Iwata feeds it forwards for Idah down the right channel. He goes, Butcher trying to match him. Idah gets it into the penalty area, but McGinn's there and plays it out to the left hand side for Gent. Back with McGinn, who just this time hoists it up to the halfway line, giving Bair something to try and hold on to, which he's done well, and he brings Devine into play, and Spittle's in loads of space over on this left hand side. He's calling for it. Devine tries to find him. Carter Vickers goes up and wins the header though. Comes to Gent on the edge of the box. Challenged there by Yang. So good bit of defending actually by Yang, and then McGregor picks up for Celtic and tries to drive his side forward. Matched by Devine. McGregor picks the pass, almost sold Taylor short there. In step Lennon Miller, and Motherwell do have it back through Mugabe. It's pretty breathless stuff here, I have to say, at Fir Park, and I don't imagine the closing 15 minutes are going to be any different, as Mugabe plays it down the right channel for the substitute Sam Nicholson, former Hearts man. He can't find a teammate though. Celtic have it back. They're going to shift it quickly out to the left hand side. It's Taylor on the touchline on that left flank, just inside the Motherwell half. Switches it for Johnston with a good first touch, and then out to Yang about 25 yards from goal. He's got room to try and measure across. It's a poor one, and Taylor will go and chase that and keep it in. He's done well, Taylor. Can he deliver here from the left hand side? Instead he goes into O'Reilly trying to lose his marker. To the goal line he goes, tries to force it across goal, but he can't wrap his foot around it to any great extent, and Liam Kelly able to gather at his near post. 76 played, it's Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
I think Yang's made a difference since he's come on. A little bit more energy. There's an end product. You know, he's put about 2 or 3 great balls across the box. Just keep feeding him. He's high in confidence.
To be fair, having watched Nicholas Kuhn in the first half, it would have been hard to be worse than him, to be honest. You know, he had no final delivery, he had no crosses into the box, where Yang's obviously been given the message, when you go onto the pitch, out of your feet, fire it in there.
On comes Paulo Bernardo here, and he's going to replace Tomoki Iwata for the closing 13.5 minutes. As Motherwell prepare to take a throw in. It was I'm not quite sure, there was some booing there, I think, coming from the Celtic end, but I'm not entirely sure who it was aimed at as such. But anyway, on comes Bernardo, and Celtic win it back, and it's Johnston for Scales. Scales brings it forward.
Well, it means that Callum McGregor now goes back into his position where Iwata was playing, and Bernardo is gone into his position further forward in the pitch. But see, can he actually deliver?
Let's see, Scales ball forward as well, defended by Mugabe. Bair back to Zdravkovsky. Forward comes Nicholson trying to get onto it, but McGregor picks up the loose ball, and now it's Alistair Johnson on the halfway line out to Yang, who, as Paki says, has made a positive impact on the game since coming into it. Back to Scales, halfway line. 12.5 minutes for either of these sides to try and find a winner. As I mentioned previously, all of the goals in the previous 2 meetings have come in the last few minutes, so plenty time for either of these sides to grab that goal that might clinch the 3 points. Throw-in's taken to Bernardo, right hand side of the penalty, plays it through the legs of Zdravkovsky. McGinn and then Butcher combine to get it clear for Motherwell. There's a Motherwell player down off the ball there. It was Nicholson, but no free kick given. Celtic come forward. Idah being dragged to the ground there by Butcher, and it's a free kick right on the edge of the box. A yellow card for Callum Butcher, and this is a big chance for Celtic.
Yeah, it's a bit close, but it's right in the middle of the goal. Difficult for the goalkeeper, but that was definite foul and a definite yellow card, because he had turned him, he was getting away from him, and he's just wrapped his hands around him to pull him back, and it's right on. It's about 19 yards out, right, almost, it was slightly to the right hand side of centre.
Yeah. Poor defending from Butcher, isn't it? You know, against Idah, he wants to back in, he wants the ball in. When you're the last defender, you probably have to take a step back and allow him to make his first move when the ball comes into him, and then make the tackle, whereas he got far too tight, couldn't see the ball, and it's a definite free kick.
Yeah, talking of positive impacts, Idah certainly made that since coming on at half-time, a goal, and causing all sorts of problems there for Callum Butcher. Just rolled him and looked like he would get the strike away, but fouled in the end by Callum Butcher. But Celtic still nonetheless have a big opportunity here to move in front for the first time.
Liam Kelly just has to defend one side of the goal and hope that his wall is going to do the job for him, because if they get it up and down on that side, I don't think he'll never have a chance, but he's got to make the big save on his own side.
Well, this could be a red card for Callum Butcher. VAR are checking that for denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, and Willie Collum's going to have a look at that. And Callum Butcher's time on the pitch could be very short-lived here if he's adjudged to have been denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Adam Idah was, well, he could have pulled the trigger, no doubt, if he hadn't been challenged by Butcher. I guess the argument is there any other Motherwell player in a position to try and stop him getting the shot off there? Hoping to see a rerun here.
There's a group of players around about him, though. That's what I noticed. Whether he was last man was with Adam Idah, did he turn him, or was he going to get a shot away?
I'm guessing he would have had a free shot at goal.
Yeah.
That's what clearly Willie Collum's going to go and decide. And when you think of him in the middle of the 18-yard box, if he turns, it's going to
no, he's just carrying on. It's as was. Willie Collum sticking with the initial decision.
Don't see that too often, do we?
Not too often, maybe more so of late. But so it's still the yellow for Callum Butcher. It still, of course, is going to be a free kick on the edge of the box. Matt O'Reilly, you'd have to fancy, would be the one to take this. Liam Kelly is guarding the right-hand side as he looks at it of his penalty, or his goal mouth, with a wall looking to try and cover the other side. What can Celtic produce here? It's either O'Reilly or Bernardo to go for this, as they look to get the goal that would put them in front for the first time in the game with just under 10 minutes remaining. The wall, he's got, what, 4 or 5 Motherwell players in it, a couple of Celtic players, then a couple other Motherwell players. As Bernardo leaves it to O'Reilly. It's a low shot, it's easily blocked by the wall. It wasn't a good strike by O'Reilly. Still Celtic though will try and put the pressure on as Taylor sends it back into the box. Mugabe heads clear, McGregor tries to help it on. O'Reilly picks up once more, having been denied there from the set piece. Taylor now midway inside the Motherwell half, still 1-1 it stands, 8.5 to play plus stoppage time. Here's Yang, right hand side, looking to get the cross in, denied that by Gent, and it will be, I think it's gone out for a corner as O'Reilly comes across to this near side. Again, it's that part of the pitch we can't quite clearly see, but it does look like it's going to be a Celtic corner. Matt O'Reilly to take 1-1 with 8 left, and it comes, it's glanced overs by Scales. Brilliant save by Liam Kelly. That was goal bound, well met by Scales at the near post, and Liam Kelly reacted brilliantly to keep it out and hold on to it, and so it remains Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
Yeah, we've seen that run from Scales before. He scored from it, getting across that near post, getting a flick on. He's got a decent header. It was a nice height for Liam Kelly to see, and it was almost in the right area to go for him to intercept.
And it's all hands to the pump for Motherwell, isn't it? They really are treading water in certain areas of the pitch. Kettlewell again going to make substitutions. He needs to get his team up the pitch.
I think you got a look at that Callum Butcher challenge there, did you, Stephen? What was your own view of it?
I think Paul McGinn's closing in, so Paul McGinn may get the chance to make a tackle, maybe make a lunge, but I would say if Butcher doesn't impede him, he's going to get a shot off. So it could easily have equated their red card.
Stephen O'Donnell and Ollie Shaw are going to come on here for Motherwell. Shaw returning, having not played since the end of 2023. Off for coming Adam Devine, who's put in a really good shift as the right wing back. He'll be replaced like for like with O'Donnell, and it's Lennon Miller, I think, is the other player to make way for Ollie Shaw.
Two experienced players, though, coming on.
Yeah, pretty attacking, you have to say, from Stuart Kettlewell in terms of replacing Lennon Miller with Shaw, Stephen.
Yeah, well, it's just to try and put a bit more of a threat up the pitch, because if you keep putting on midfield players and defenders, you're almost asking Celtic, or you're giving Celtic the onus to come and get after you, whereas if you put an attacking player on, then they can get you up the pitch.
Palma's come on.
Good spot, Packy. Luis Palma, is that for Dyson Maida,
yeah.
I think, isn't it? Yeah, again, like for like over on that left flank. Another inverted winger. As both these sides look to try and claim the victory that could be so precious for very different reasons. O'Reilly was caught late there, but he gets the pass off to Yang. Still inside his own, though. Back to Carter Vickers. Still time for a winner, that's for sure, as Liam Scales, who was denied just a moment ago by Liam Kelly, finds Taylor. Now Palma, left-hand side. Across comes Mugabe, though. Good interception and good reading of the game from him, and knocks it into what they call the Motherwell boys or something like that. You'll know that, Stephen. Over on that far side, making a racket and hoping that their side can at least hold on for the point here, which would be hard earned, but maybe well earned, you'd say. As Yang's ball into the box is well defended, and then Gent pokes it forward for Spittal, whose goal opened the scoring, and it was a fabulous effort. Carter Vickers going down under pressure from Bear, that eventually gets himself back up and plays it square to Scales. Forward for Taylor. 5 minutes left plus injury time. Motherwell 1, Celtic 1. A fascinating game has been here at Fir Park. A real test for Celtic. Can they come out of it with the 3 points? That's the challenge for them. Here's Taylor, 35 yards from goal, clips it in. Idah with a glancing header just wide. Oh, I thought he'd found his second goal there. Liam Kelly was rooted to the spot. It looked like it might have been heading for the bottom corner, but disappointingly for Idah, just the other side of the post, and it remains Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
Big chance for him. He had a bend sort of almost down to get a header away. He couldn't almost direct it across the goalkeeper, so he had to get a glancing header on it, and it just goes to the wrong side of the post. Big opportunity for Celtic and for Adam Idah.
What I would say is there wasn't a lot of pace on the cross, so whether he was trying to generate the power and has actually tried to put too much power on it and hasn't made enough of a contact, but he probably should have scored. It should be 2-1 to Celtic.
Well, there was late heartache here for Motherwell against Celtic the last time they visited, as Matt O'Reilly popped up with an injury time winner. Can they do something similar this time around? As Carter Vickers plays it out to Johnston, just inside the Motherwell half. Celtic have really been the dominant side in this second period, getting the early equaliser after half-time and putting on the pressure thereafter. Motherwell haven't been able to offer too much in the second period, but it's a chance here for Bear to go and try and stretch the legs. But Carter Vickers, as Stephen was saying earlier on, is fast and strong himself, and he gets there first and plays it back to Joe Hart, who finds Liam Scales. 3.5 of the 90 left. Taylor has it just inside Motherwell territory, knocks it forward to Bernardo and then gets it back, the fullback put under pressure there by Nicholson. Out to the left hand side, Bernardo back to Scales. McGregor, Scales once more coming forward down the left hand side, and it's Palma back in field to his captain Callum McGregor, midway inside the Celtic half. Now Johnston, who's come in off that right flank, out to Yang, about 35 yards, comes in to a central area, tries to squeeze the pass, and he's managed to do so for Idah out to Johnston with a terrible attempt at a cross. My goodness, I mean, the Canadians put in a few really good balls in this second period, but that was not one of them. All the way out for a throw in the far side, and Motherwell get a breather. 1-1 it stands.
And it was great set-up play. Lovely little ball played into Adam Idah again, and holds it in and then lays it off into the space for Johnson. It was probably too easy for him.
Everyone looks so disappointed with that cross apart from me. I'm just looking at people beside me and they're all, So yeah, it's a let-off again. Celtic really are all hands to the pump. They know they have to get the winner. They're going to have to gamble. They're going to have to put balls in the box. Players are going to have to get themselves in the box.
It's all the way back to Joe Hart at the edge of his box with just a couple of minutes left of the 90. It's not a brilliant clearance, but it is picked up by O'Reilly, whose pass again forces Scales to just head back the way before retrieving and then finding Callum McGregor. 2 minutes left plus stoppage time. 1-1 at Fir Park as Palma has it on the left hand side, coming in field, trying to find a pass, but it's cut out at the edge of the Motherwell penalty area. Breaks for Carter Vickers, out to the right for O'Reilly. O'Reilly, the man who scored that late winner here, and he's won his side a corner on the right hand side, and the fans behind the goal, all of a Celtic persuasion, trying to urge their side on to victory here. Willie Collum is stopping play for another Motherwell change to be made here, and it's going to be Shane Blaney, a defender, who will come on for the closing stages here to replace Georgie Gent, as Motherwell look to cling on here. They'd very much take the point at this stage, Stephen.
Yeah, I think you said they would have taken a point before the game, but then when you start clock watching, you're getting towards those 90 minutes. However, the players will be fully aware of the threat that Celtic have, that the drive they have to go right to the final whistle. They've suffered in the past from it, so they have to make sure they don't do so again today.
A point would take Motherwell level with Aberdeen, and they hope will propel them further up the table as things progress. But it's Celtic looking to claim all 3 points as O'Reilly sends the corner in. It's well headed away by Bear, but the whistle goes for a free kick in any event for Motherwell inside their own penalty area. And inside the final minute of the 90, it's still all square. Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
Well, you've got to say the Celtic were better in the second half, but if they lose another 2 points here, absolute disaster for them from that perspective. And the first half wasn't good enough. We've described it at half time, but this would be a great result for Motherwell.
Georgie Gent getting the acclaim in the main stand as he comes back round to the Motherwell dugout. He's been another good signing on loan from Blackburn, and he had a good game this afternoon as Johnston tries to step away there from Spittal inside his own half and then feeds it forward for Yang. Still looking for the fourth officials board, which hasn't gone up yet, despite the fact that we're beyond the 90 minutes. 6 minutes for Motherwell to hold on, 6 minutes for Celtic to try and find a winner. Given the way the game has gone, you'd have to say that is the way things are going, as Palma finds Johnston at the edge of the penalty area. Celtic come forward, now out to Yang on the right hand side. Celtic looking to create. Johnston to the byline, stands up to the back post. There's a little nudge at the back post there, and it's a header into the arms of Liam Kelly. Palma just nudged Stephen O'Donnell to get the header in. I'm not sure if had that gone into the back of the net would necessarily have stood, but in any case it was right into the arms of Liam Kelly as we enter injury time, and it's still Motherwell 1, Celtic 1.
It's poor defending, so I've got to say, by Blair Spittal and Paul McGinn, because Alistair Johnson does an overlap. Paul McGinn has to detach himself and go with him. Him and Blair Spittal stand still and allow Johnson the free cross. So once again, Motherwell giving the onus to Celtic.
Forward come Motherwell down the right hand side, looking to create a rare threat themselves in this second period. They had plenty of opportunity and plenty of attacking play in the first half, but precious little in this second period as they're clinging on now for dear life and a point. As Taylor comes forward, having set up the equaliser, can he do something similar for a winner? It's Palma now taking over midway inside the Motherwell half. A minute and a half gone in stoppage time as Johnston picks up, looking to feed Idah. Motherwell though hack it clear, and that's all they're content to do at the moment. It doesn't matter where it goes really, as Carter Vickers retrieves it and plays it infield to Liam Scales. Now Bernardo back to Scales inside the centre circle. Scales wonders what to do and then plays it back to the left hand side for Bernardo. Forward for Taylor. Taylor challenged there by Nicholson. Willie Collum says that's fine. Waves Greg Taylor up as Celtic were looking for the free kick, and Motherwell just launch it downfield. Stuart Kettlewell so animated at the edge of his technical area there, urging his side on for a point here. It would be the second time in 2 meetings that they've taken a point off Celtic, having got one at Celtic Park, the late John Obika equaliser. Here's Scales trying to make sure that Celtic though claim all 3. Taylor into the penalty area. Mugabe with the header clear at the edge of the box, only as far as Palma on the left hand side, up against O'Donnell onto the right foot. Scales goes, Taylor goes in the overlap, but he tries to feed it in himself. Half cleared. O'Reilly picks up inside the penalty area, can't find a teammate. Motherwell again will just thump it up towards Theo Bair. What can he make of this? It's over him, it's over Scales, who gets it to Carter Vickers, and it's back with Scales once more. 3 minutes of stoppage time left, still 1-1. Taylor picks up for Celtic. It's all Celtic just at the moment.
I'm just looking at it and saying, put it in. You know, they scored a goal from exactly that type of cross. Taylor's picking the ball up on that left-hand side. Just whip it in there for Idah to go and attack.
Here's Yang, he's found Johnston. Johnston for Idah, goal! Idah has won it surely for Celtic in stoppage time. Late heartbreak again for Motherwell against Celtic at Fir Park. Johnston for Idah. Idah at the double. Motherwell 1, Celtic 2.
Just put it in there, and the man will get on the end of it. And that was a really well taken goal. You just stab at the ball, put it into the right position across that 6-yard box, and there he was, just to get his foot to it, to put it past Liam Kelly.
If you don't engage with players and you stand off and you allow them to pass around about you and put free crosses into the box, you're going to be on the back foot, you're going to give away opportunities. And when you get quality players in the final third of the pitch, they're going to find space, they're going to have that touch. And he does, he's been the difference in the second half, he's been a real match winner for them. Everything about his play with Idah has changed the whole dynamic of the game for Celtic. 2 great goals and a huge 3 points, it looks like.
Well, that could be absolutely massive in the final shake-up. 2 goals from Idah to turn this game on its head. And although they came back with a leveller late at Celtic Park, they'll be asking an awful lot for Motherwell to do likewise again, as they now trail by 2 goals to 1. And Idah is the man who has made a massive difference in this second half, with a double again, just as he did at Easter Road. On that occasion it was a late one to win it from the penalty spot. This time he knocked in from Johnston's cross, and here he comes again, right hand side, and he'll just take this to the corner flag and look to kill some time. A minute left of stoppage time, a bit more perhaps to be added on as a result of that goal. And Celtic, I think, have a corner down that right hand side. If not, it's a throw-in very near the corner flag. It's a throw-in, I believe, and the Celtic fans behind that goal with renewed belief, you'd have to say, after that goal.
Yeah, and the defining moments in any season when you sort of, you don't look as if you're going to win it, and then you get that goal late on. But listen, there's a little couple of minutes, we've seen it in the past here, but Motherwell haven't been up in Celtic's half in the second half. They've really struggled.
They can't get up at all, they can't get hold of the ball. When they do, they're just throwing it forward. They put so much into the first half that they haven't had the renewed energy in the second half. But you've got to say, overall, this wouldn't be good enough. Celtic's performance has to be better if they want to go on and win the league. Yes, they'll get a big 3 points, but overall the performance hasn't been what it should be.
Here's Palma picking up as Celtic look to make sure of the victory. It's O'Reilly feeding Yang into the box, and it's another one. Luis Palma takes the shirt off in celebration as Celtic celebrate, wrapping up the points at the death. Yang feeding Luis Palma at the back post to make sure of the victory. It adds a little bit of gloss to the scoreline, and Celtic will go away with all 3 points and move back to within 2 of Rangers at the top. It's Motherwell 1, Celtic 3.
Yeah, well worked goal again. Nobody picking him up at the back post, and simple for Palma. I don't know what he's celebrating there on his chest. He's only on the pitch, and he couldn't have missed that one, surely.
Yeah, it's good football again. Motherwell are committing men forward, they leave themselves open, and it's just a simple ball across the goal. Palma, I think, scored here in the game earlier in the season, and he's rounded off a big 3 points for Celtic, a much needed 3 points.
Well, they've been renowned over the years for crucial late goals, Celtic, and Luis Palma's goal just adding a bit of shine to it. But Idah's goals have certainly been the ones that have been pivotal in this game. There's a VAR check on Luis Palma's goal, I think probably for a potential offside. I didn't quite catch what the announcer said there, but may or may not turn out to be 3-1. We shall wait the check here from Gavin Duncan in the VAR office. Willie Collum waiting for the information to be relayed to him. Motherwell will hope that it's chopped off and give them an opportunity to go up the park one last time perhaps and try and grab an equaliser, although that may well be a forlorn hope. Still we await the decision. Willie Collum points to the centre spot. Luis Palma has his 9th goal of the season, 6th in the league. We're underway again, and for all Motherwell's efforts, particularly in that first half when they were tremendous and well worthy of the half-time lead, Celtic's response, Packy, you'd have to say, has been one that was required if they are to be champions again.
Yeah, there was a couple of subtle changes. Obviously the big change is bringing Idah onto the pitch, and he's been very, very good, held the ball up, got his goals, and it's a big 3 points for Celtic.
Full time at Fir Park, and Celtic have come back from a goal down at half time to turn it around and claim a massive victory. And their fans, the response from them suggests they believe they are still very much in the title race. Just 2 points again behind Rangers with 11 games to play. It was all about Adam Idah, introduced at half-time for Kyogo, with Celtic trailing to Blair Spittal's fabulous late first half strike. Idah came on to head Celtic level from Greg Taylor's cross early in the second half. After that it was all Celtic pressure as they looked for the winner, and eventually 4 minutes into injury time it came. Again it was Idah, this time latching onto Alistair Johnston's ball into the box from the right hand side to knock past Liam Kelly and secure the victory. Luis Palma adding a third, even deeper into stoppage time, but by then Motherwell were a beaten side. They put so much into it but take nothing from it. At Fir Park it finishes Motherwell 1, Celtic 3.